I start by building Chase. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyright or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 226. I can't sit still anymore. Why aren't you coming yet? 1 day passed, 2 days passed, more than half a month passed, and there was still no movement from the Wangxian Empire. Now everyone in the World Parliament and the allied countries turned from joy to anger, and they couldn't sit still. Will the two people from the Wangxian Empire come? Everyone is busy, so how can they have time to wait here? There is no way to wait like this foolishly. Everyone wants to gain a good reputation legitimately, and also wants to kick the Wangxian Empire out of the allied countries. And all this is done only when the Wangxian Empire must participate in this commendation conference. As a last resort, under the pressure of Pussy and others, Secretary General Lazkolola had to make a public statement in the name of the World Parliament. More than half a month has passed, and Lin Chen and Yuan Jing of the Wangxian Empire should have resolved the relevant matters. Now the World Congress invites the two to attend the commendation conference. The location is 20 City in the Jianmeng Empire. This is not a notice, but an invitation. The former is to tell you that you have been selected and can come to the commendation conference held in the World Parliament, while the latter is to invite you to attend the commendation conference. The nature of these 2 points is very different. As soon as the news came out, the world was shocked. Lin Chen is now well known not only in China but also in the world. After all, he is known as the husband of women. He is a young scientist with both talent and appearance. He is also that young, the eldest princess of the Wangxian Empire. After searching for information on the internet, some information about Yuan Jing was also found. He is the commander of the Third Army of the Wangxian Empire and is in charge of the navy of the Wangxian Empire. These two people are actually invited by the World Congress to participate. Awesome. In the Empire, this news set off an uproar, and then countless people were proud of it. Ha ha ha, I got angry when I saw the list of commendations from the World Congress. Now I should do this. I won't go and don't participate in those trivial commendations. We have no interest in those good names. Jealousy, envy and hatred. I'm older than Lin Chen, but he has reached the pinnacle of his life and has a beautiful princess fiancée, while I can only rely on my right hand every night. How can we be so different as human beings? I didn't figure it out after smoking a cigarette. We all have the same brains, why are they different? Countless people were discussing. They all saw it. Lin Chen and Yuan Jing deliberately didn't go. Whether it was the list of commendations announced by the World Congress before, or the press conference held by the Empire later, they were all competing in secret. We didn't go because we were not interested in those commendations that were in name only, and we didn't want to be secretly calculated. Now, if we don't go, those people will be impatient, so we can only put down our face and be invited by the World Congress to participate. This is an honor that even the old man Pussy has never had. Countless people felt that the World Congress invited them instead of Lin Chen. It was very refreshing. Here, Pussy and others were waiting for the reply from the Wangxian Empire. After a while, the Wangxian Empire conveyed Lin Chen's meaning. No interest. Pussy and others. One by one, they immediately became furious. Damn young people. Since you are not come in, then keep sending messages. I don't believe you won't come. Although it's very unhappy, you can only admit it. But compared with what will happen later, if Lin Chen and Yuan Jing can come to attend the commendation meeting, then everything will be worth it. In short, no matter what, Lin Chen and Yuan Jing must come to attend the commendation meeting. Everyone is now eager to establish their reputation of saving the world, and they are also eager to see the Wangxian Empire make a fool of itself. For a while, the leaders of various countries discussed and sent messages to the Wangxian Empire together. Now everyone is fighting for the same goal, that is, to deal with the Wangxian Empire, so they must lose face together. Pussy. Lin Chen, give me a favor and come to the commendation meeting, how about it? Nicholas. The Polar Empire and the Wangxian Empire have always been on good terms, and now the only thing missing is that the Wangxian Empire can come together to accept the commendation. Songrin. We are neighbors, please be sure to witness the beautiful commendation meeting with us. For a while, all countries are inviting the Wangxian Empire to attend the commendation meeting. In the past, they all wanted to see how the Wangxian Empire made a fool of itself, or there was a large meeting without the Wangxian Empire. But now most of the forces in the allied countries have changed their minds and must bring the Wangzi Empire along, as if they would be missing something important if the Wangzi Empire didn't go. There is definitely a conspiracy. However, since the World Parliament and the allied powers are calling on the Wangzi Empire to attend, at least the Wangzi Empire has a lot of face. For a while, it was not right, as if the first commendation meeting for saving the world could not be held without the Wangzi Empire. After consultation, it was finally decided that Foreign Ministers Lai would lead the team to the World Parliament in Jianmeng Empire. Because Lin Chen and Huan Jing were like old-fashioned people who had never been to the World Parliament. Lin Chen was better off. After all, he had taken the opportunity to blackmail many people before, such as Pusi and Liu Ngumo, but Huan Jing was different. At best, he was considered a figure in the Wangzi Empire, and it was still a little bit not enough to be put on the world level. Along the way, Lin Chen was very confused as to why Lai led the team. In this kind of thing, although the prospective father-in-law was terminally ill, wasn't there still a general manager Yang Ming? Lai said. Kepler is undergoing a major reform, and he is the busiest person now, not to mention coming back. Lin Chen and Huan Jing nodded thoughtfully. The technology of Kepler planet is extremely backward. Since the assistance of Wangzi Empire, a technological innovation has been launched there. After flying on the plane for a while, everyone arrived at Jianmeng Empire. Hearing that the people of Wangzi Empire have come, many people in the allied countries are relieved. As long as they come, they can implement the following things. Rest here for a day. The next day, Lin Chen and the other two received a notice to attend the commendation meeting. After a while, they came to the venue of the World Congress. This venue is very solemn. After all, it is an institution that nominally manages the Blue Star. Even if it has no real power, it should at least be acceptable in terms of face. The arrival of Lin Chen and the other two immediately attracted a lot of attention. Liu Ngumo walked over with a smile on his face. Hey, young man, you are here. Pusi walked over with a smile. God, my dear Lin, you are more handsome than before, and you were already half as handsome as when I was young. Whether they knew each other or not, they all came to greet Lai and Lin Chen, and Huan Jing felt embarrassed. For a moment, many people stood together and laughed, and the atmosphere seemed extremely harmonious, but this was only a surface phenomenon. Many people had sincere smiles on their faces, but in fact they were sneering in their hearts, and they were all waiting for the Wangzi Empire to make a fool of itself. Chapter 227 My research saved the world. In the hall of the World Congress, the atmosphere was still lively, but soon an inappropriate voice sounded. It seemed to be showing off and reminding. Have you seen it? That is the excellent bloodline of our Sanhan kingdom. According to the evidence we found, Lin Chen is a precious talent that we lost in the Wangzi Empire. Now it's all the fault of the hateful Wangzi Empire for not admitting the facts and even using the beauty trap to win him over. The Emperor of Sanhan Kingdom said to the people behind him. The scene suddenly fell into a strange silence. Those who were talking before stopped talking, and even the smiles on many people's faces disappeared. Oh, everyone. It was as if 10,000 grass-mud horses were running wildly in their hearts. Is this okay? The Emperor of Sanhan Kingdom did not feel anything wrong, but was full of confidence. What is face? Can it be eaten? As long as it is something that is beneficial to oneself, face is no longer important. Even now, Sanhan Kingdom is studying the history of Wangzi Empire, because Wangzi Empire once had a Han Kingdom in the ancient spring and autumn period. So what is the relationship between this Han Kingdom and Sanhan Kingdom? There must be a deep connection between them. Maybe Wangzi Ren is a descendant of Sanhan people. Sanhan Guo thought confidently. Lin Chen himself looked depressed and was obviously unhappy. After a while, the commendation meeting officially began. All the people present were present and sat down according to the previously stipulated positions. The three people from Wangzi Empire were almost in the back row. This commendation meeting was arranged according to the contribution to the world this time, and it seemed normal to do so. However, this was clearly a trick secretly done by the Jianmeng Empire and the allied countries. It can be seen from the smiles on their faces at this time. Secretary General Lazcarola gave a speech, and then it was time for the important part. The commendation began. First of all, thank you all for your contribution to world peace. Now let's start the commendation. After Lin Chen announced, a wave of applause rang out. Immediately, many people's smiles became even bigger. Everything went according to plan. As long as the Wangzi Empire accepts the fake award, it will be equivalent to confirming that the allies are the real forces that save the world, and such a reputation will be justified. First of all, thank the Sun Never Sets Alliance. Their contributions are obvious to all. It can be said that they blocked the mimic aliens in the early stage. After a round of praise, Lasek took out the gold medal that had been prepared long ago and waited for several heroes of the Sun Never Sets Alliance to receive it. Everything went smoothly. Next is the Jianmeng Empire. Next is the Polar Empire. The forces that received the awards were not idle. While looking forward to the Wangxi Empire's next embarrassment, the urge to show off in their hearts became even more difficult to suppress. In this case, of course, we have to show off. Haha, I didn't expect to save the world accidentally. What a coincidence, we also successfully saved the world. Pussy and Nicholas temporarily put aside their grudges and talked about business with each other face to face. The commendation meeting continued. Soon, many countries had accepted the commendation, except for the Wangxi Empire. Finally, after almost everyone in the venue had received the award, Lasek said, Lin Chen and Huan Jing of the Wangxi Empire, their timely assistance indirectly helped the Allied forces to eliminate Omega. After Lasek announcement, the venue immediately fell into silence. Many people looked back and looked around. As long as the Wangxi Empire accepted this hot award, then everyone's reputation of saving the world would be justified, and they would have something to brag about in the future. Of course, they could isolate the Wangxi Empire again later. However, when Lasek and the other two answered, there was silence and no one answered. Lasek had a little worry in his heart, and announced again. Lin Chen and Huan Jing of the Wangxi Empire, please go on stage to accept the award. Countless people urged them to go quickly in their hearts. But Lin Chen and Huan Jing were not moved at all. Countless people were staring at Lin Chen and the other two behind them. In such an occasion, even if you're unwilling in your heart, you have to bite the bullet and agree with a smile. The atmosphere became solemn for a while. It's not that the leader of the power intends to force the Wangxi Empire to submit. If everyone unites together, of course they will not be afraid of the Wangxi Empire, otherwise how can they isolate them? And Huan Jing was also unwilling to be outdone. He stood up and asked for a microphone from the staff and said, this commendation meeting is clearly challenging the dignity of the Wangxi Empire. Of course, if it must continue, we will still not agree with this commendation. The authority of the World Parliament cannot be desecrated. Pussy raised his eyebrows and smiled evilly. When he said this, many people immediately agreed. Yes, the World Parliament has always been fair and just. The commendation results have been carefully reviewed, and there is absolutely no falsehood in it. In my opinion, they, the Wangxi Empire, are simply jealous that everyone's contributions are greater than theirs, so they deliberately refuse to accept the commendation. Now everyone is eager for the Wangxi Empire to make a scene on the scene. The more violent the noise, the more beneficial it will be to the Allies in the end. Once the propaganda is made, there is no need to lead the rhythm, and all the human beings in the world will make up their own minds. What about being angry about the commendation? What about the Wangxi Empire making trouble for no reason, and so on? There are all kinds of versions of rumors. You know, there are many people at the scene who were very happy to see how the Wangxi Empire loses face. Lin Chen also said, how did the ranking of commendations come from? Could it be that the Wangxi Empire captured the blue mimic aliens and analyzed the intelligence, saved the Allied forces, eliminated Omega, and swept the Black Continent battlefield, but all these combined are ranked last? In this case, just don't give the Wangxi Empire any commendations. Who told us that we don't want this kind of reputation of saving the world? For a while, many people's faces were not very good. The Wangxi Empire disdained something, but everyone was still arguing about it. At this time, Song Rin, who was full of confidence, stood up and said in a deep voice, Mr. Lin. Lin Chen glanced at the other party. You know everything. Song Rin looked unhappy. It's not that you disdain these false names, but your false names are just these. Originally thought that he jumped out first to call the Wangxi Empire, and there would be many supporters later. But who would have thought that everyone was watching the show? At this time, Song Rin could only bite the bullet and go ahead at this point, except for saying a fucking idiot in his heart. In short, I just don't want to admit defeat, especially since the new kingdom will soon have its own mecha, and it's still unclear who will be stronger in the future. The Marines destroyed Omega. Then what do you mean by expanding the Marines in large numbers? The excellent performance of the Marines is more perfect, and they eventually became the main force, and this is my success. When the mimic aliens invaded, we were able to resist until victory. Mr. Lin, you know very well that you're distorting the facts to defend yourself. You created the Marines to increase the military power of the Wangzi Empire, not to fight against the invasion of aliens. When human homes are destroyed one after another, and my Marines are one of the main ways to prevent mimic aliens from exterminating humans, no one will care why they were created in the first place. So you finally think that your approach is correct? Lin Chen said. My research has saved the world. Chapter 228. Punching Wangzi and kicks Jianmeng. The whole audience was in an uproar. They were all shocked by Lin Chen's bold words. He really knows how to flatter himself. Although his research on eliminating the mimic aliens has made a great contribution, it is far from being able to save the world. Otherwise, what else do other people do? For a moment, whether it was Pussy, Lun Gummo, or even everyone else's face suddenly changed. It seems that today's matter will not end well. So one by one, they smiled and tried to smooth things over. It's just an empty title. If Wangzi Empire doesn't care, just accept the commendation. Yes, it's just a formality. Accepting the commendation is actually nothing. They were coaxing Lin Chen and Huan Jing to go on stage to accept the commendation. As long as they accepted the commendation, it would be equivalent to confirming that Wangzi Empire did not contribute much to saving the world, and the Allies contributed the most. In this way, they can establish the reputation of saving the world, and they can also isolate Wangzi Empire in the future. At this time, Xinglai smiled and tried to smooth things over. He said, "Everyone, I'm sorry. Actually, we didn't want to come. We were just invited to watch such a grand event as everyone's commendation. Although we did save the world, we never care about these false names." Everyone looked unhappy. If the Wangzi Empire did not accept this fake commendation, wouldn't this carefully planned commendation meeting be aborted halfway? Although they hated it very much in their hearts, they really had no other way. They couldn't tie people to the stage to accept the commendation, right? Pussy said in a deep voice, "If you do this, won't the honor of our commendation become hot?" Xinglai said, "We are not here to accept the commendation, nor to be threatened by anything. We are just here to attend and watch the commendation meeting. Please don't confuse them. Since you are here, you must accept the commendation, otherwise you are openly challenging the authority of the World Parliament." Nicholas's face was not very good either. Everyone agreed. Even Secretary General Laz Coca-Cola rarely stood in the same camp with Pussy and others. With this, the atmosphere on the scene suddenly changed. The original commendation meeting turned into a collective criticism meeting against the Wangzi Empire, as if the Wangzi Empire would not accept the commendation, and the Allied forces would be very unhappy. In the end, they concluded with one sentence. Since the Wangzi Empire is so ignorant, isn't it afraid of being sanctioned in the future? Isolation, the Wangzi Empire must be isolated, and they must know the dangers and beatings from the world. Lin Chen said, "Don't forget, the monster disaster has not passed. The last monster reacted strangely. Can you really guarantee that you can destroy the monster that appears next time? Maybe the next monster that appears will be more terrifying than the mimic alien." After that, the three left, and walked away very casually. The faces of the Allied people at the scene became extremely gloomy. Damn it. When the Wangzi Empire did this, it felt that the carefully laid plan before was declared over again. At night, many people around the world were waiting for the news of the World Parliament in front of the TV. After all, there was an overwhelming publicity for the commendation meeting before, and the willfulness of the Wangzi Empire in the middle led to the postponement of the commendation meeting for more than half a month. The whole world finally brought the Wangzi Empire into the World Parliament, so now many people want to see what kind of attitude the Wangzi Empire has at the commendation meeting. After waiting for a long time, the TV finally broadcast the content of the commendation meeting. However, many people watched it several times and did not see any scenes of the Wangzi Empire. What about the Wangzi Empire? I watched it twice and did not find any clues of the Wangzi Empire. The video was edited, and some content was missing. It should be the content of the Wangzi Empire. Did they fight in the World Parliament? I feel that there must be something in it. Maybe it was unhappy in the middle, and the Wangzi Empire got hot again. People were confused and felt bored in the expected news. They wanted to see the attitude of the Wangzi Empire. But it was edited out. What's the point? In fact, the audience guessed correctly that the video was edited, otherwise would the audience all over the world see how the Allied powers and the World Parliament targeted the Wangzi Empire throughout the whole process. Not only that, but it ended up becoming a personal show of Lin Chen and the three people. This can't be broadcast anymore. As for how to sanction and isolate the Wangzi Empire, the Allies are still discussing it. However, after 2 days of discussion, no proper solution has been proposed. As time went by, the heat of the commendation conference gradually decreased, but many forces were not idle. As Lin Chen said in the World Parliament, the monster disaster has not yet passed. Once the monster appears this time, it will be a disaster no less than the mimicry of aliens. So many forces are actively preparing for war. Here. The Indo Kingdom. Emperor Songrin went to the secret base confidently. His desire to show off has made him lose his appetite after returning from the World Parliament. He wants to punch Wang Xin and Kit Jianmeng. At this time, the scientific research team of the secret base heard that Songrin was coming to inspect, and immediately put down the matters at hand and went outside to greet him, or to ask for credit. When Songrin arrived at the gate of the base and saw everyone welcoming him, a smile subconsciously appeared on his face. Abnormal. In the past, whenever he inspected these people, they didn't dare to see him. But now, these people came out to greet him with smiles. Is there going to be some amazing good news, such as all the technical problems of the Mechas being solved? He stepped forward quickly, looked at the person in charge of the base, and asked, "Don't tell me yet, let me guess, is the mecha we independently developed about to be completed?" The person in charge said, "Yes, although our nuclear technology is not very perfect, we have found a more appropriate way to solve the power problem of the Mechas, but we can't make the decision." Songrin sighed. Nuclear technology is the most troublesome problem for the Indo Kingdom. The power of small Mechas is easy to solve, but the power of large Mechas like the Jianmeng Empire is not easy to solve, because the huge body requires huge energy to keep running. You can connect a wire at the back, but that's too much nonsense, right? The group entered the tent space and saw the independently developed mecha. It has the same body shape as the Mechas of the Jianmeng Empire, but from the appearance, it is very different from every mecha in the world. Whether it is the Wangxi Empire or the Jianmeng Empire, even if the appearance conforms to the aesthetics, it will still make people see that it is a mecha, and many parts of the body are square, but the Indo Kingdom is different. Their concept from the beginning is to develop their own mecha. Therefore, the mecha of the Indo Kingdom is a humanoid, a giant in the true sense. Of course, this giant has not been completed yet, and it still lacks the most critical power problem. After Songrin saw the mecha, he couldn't help but feel proud. This unique mecha, once it is born, will definitely be a surprise. After a while, the head of the base talked to him about how to solve the problem of mecha power, and even drew the finished mecha on a piece of draft paper. Songrin looked at the draft for a while, and there was nothing wrong with the shape, but the power problem was a bit difficult to talk about. He hesitated and asked, "Do you mean that our immature nuclear technology still needs to add special solar panels on the top of the head to make the mecha operate normally?" "Yes, in theory, as long as light is converted into energy, our mecha can operate normally." Chapter 229. Giant of Light Tiger. At present, the Indo country is about to have it, but it failed due to the power problem. To be honest, the senior executives of the Indo country who are manufacturing mecha projects are very crazy. Do you need immature nuclear technology and solar panels to drive the mecha? Everyone wants to make the performance of the mecha more perfect, but when you think that the mecha is only one step away, your heart becomes extremely itchy again. I wish I could pull the mecha out immediately to shock the world. Now everyone is waiting for Songrin to pay attention. If he says that he focuses on performance, then he will study it for another 10 or 8 years to make the nuclear technology more exquisite. If he follows what the person in charge said and uses immature nuclear power and solar panels as the power of the mecha, then it will take at most 1 month for the first mecha of the Indo country to be ready. In short, the choice is now on Songrin. Songrin pondered for a moment and asked, "Are solar panels reliable?" The person in charge said, "Reliable, in theory, they are the same. We can also add a timer to prevent bad weather. Just use nuclear technology and solar panels to provide energy." Songrin nodded. He had no choice. If there are no Mechas in the future, it means that there is no right to speak in the world. So now, no matter what the power of the mecha is, it is enough for solar panels and nuclear technology to drive the mecha. In addition, as long as the disguise is good enough, no one will know that the power part of the mecha is solar energy. Let's fool it first. It's worth it as long as we can catch up with the last train of showing off. Later, after careful planning and improvement, finally, a brand new draft picture appeared in front of everyone. According to Songrin's suggestion, the shape of the mecha was changed again and again. Finally, the alien that was changed into a mecha was finally decided. The mecha is a human body, with a timer on the chest. Once the energy of nuclear technology and solar panels is about to run out, the timer will flash a red light to warn. And there is a pointed light receiver on the top of the head. Song Rin's mood to show off is almost unbearable, and he boasted to the scientific researchers, "It is worthy of our self-developed mecha, this shape is so handsome." Everyone. Of course it is handsome, it is almost not much different from Ultraman. The head of the base asked, "We already have a mecha, what should we name it?" Everyone looked at Song Rin. The latter fell into deep thought. Ticket is the name of the mecha, but it must be given a more resounding title. He thought about light. After a long time, the title of the Giant of Light appeared in his mind. Perfect. The Giant of Light Tiger. Then Song Rin said his idea, and suddenly the surroundings fell into a strange silence, as if chewing the title of the Giant of Light. Wonderful. This name is so wonderful. It is completely appropriate for the mecha. Isn't part of the power source of the current mecha the light? And this Giant of Light summarizes all the Mechas. The mecha not only needs light, but also needs light to fight. As long as there is light, the Giant of Light can fight. What is light? Light is hope. And the Giant of Light will become the hope of mankind, destroying one monster after another to defend world peace. The more they thought about it, the more excited they became. Many people at the scene started to scream as if they had been injected with chicken blood to vent their excitement deep in their hearts. This name is too loud. Judging from the name alone, our mecha has already beaten all the Mechas in the world. The meaning is also perfect. Can the Giant of Light be understood as the Giant of Hope? It seems that our young country can no longer be low-key. With Mechas, we can dominate the world. I am looking forward to the shocked expressions of the whole world. I think once the existence of the Giant of Light is announced, many forces will be restless. Many people were excited and their faces were red. In the past, they only heard that other countries had Mechas, but as a new country, they felt extremely inferior because they never had Mechas. But now they finally have Mechas. Haha, inferiority. No need. Because they are proud young people. At this time, Song Rin also calmed down his excitement. Since everything has been settled and is developing in a good direction. In this case, of course, we have to show off to the world. Otherwise, what is the purpose of building a mecha? Fighting monsters is secondary, and showing strength is the main purpose. Song Rin asked, when will the tiger be fully manufactured? 1 month, but we also use a 2-man pilot, so we still need driver training. Song Rin nodded. It is understandable that such a handsome mecha will be launched later. Under the leadership of the scientific research team, he inspected the construction of the base and rushed to sort out the plan on how to show strength. After 3 days, the New Kingdom drafted a plan that was enough to shock the world. Then, without any accidents, the New Kingdom brought an uproar to the world. From now on, the New Kingdom recruits pilots to drive the light giant tiger. The recruitment range is 18 to 23 years old. The specific time will be held in Tokyo, Guangzhou in the middle of next month. People from all walks of life are welcome to visit the performance and data of the attached mecha. Mecha. Light giant tiger. Height. 80 meters. Weight. Confidential attack. Multiple forms of energy release. Although the pilots are recruited from the enemy country, in order to be able to show off, of course the world must know. So its loud publicity is enough to shock the world. Various news propaganda was overwhelming. Countless people were stunned, dumbfounded, and shocked. The New Kingdom actually has Mechas? Awesome. When they saw the pictures of the Mechas promoted by the New Kingdom, they were all speechless. The Mechas of the New Kingdom seemed a bit out of place. Whether it was the Mechas of the Wangxi Empire or the Mechas of the Jianmeng Empire, although the shapes were different, they could always be seen as Mechas at a glance. The steel-like body was full of industrial beauty. But the mecha of the New Kingdom could be considered a mecha, which was too unique. Everyone. If you don't look closely, you would think it was Ultraman. It looks like it looks too much like it. The most important thing is why there is a timer on the chest like Ultraman. What does that mean? Others make Mechas to fight monsters, but you make Ultraman to fight monsters? However, after the Ember Kingdom made such a propaganda, the world was boiling, and everyone was talking about the words about the Ember Kingdom Mechas. At this time, the news about Mechas and the recruitment of pilots swept through every corner like a hurricane, stirring up the enthusiasm and excitement of countless people. Mechas. We actually have Mechas too. Although the shape of the Mechas is a bit weird and looks like Ultraman, this does not hinder the people's enthusiasm for Mechas. Tokyo will be the hottest next month. Haha, I like. Next month I will go to see the Mecha display. I guess monsters will not dare to attack us in the future. Maybe our giant of light tiger can scare monsters to death with just a glance. Just ask if the monsters are afraid. On this day, countless Yingu people were excited and their eyes were filled with enthusiasm, and they shouted slogans such as "Long live the great Yingu kingdom" and "Long live Emperor Songreen." Allahs were full of enthusiasm, and countless people were full of longing for the future. Chapter 230. The whole world is looking forward to the overturn. In the past, it was a dark fate for the Hindu country. Since the Wang's Empire blackmailed more than 100 scientists, countless Hindu people inevitably had an inferiority complex in their hearts. And when the Sun Never Sets Alliance also announced that it had the Mecha Angel, countless Hindu people were even more envious and jealous. Now, it's finally 30 years in the East and 30 years in the West. The great Hindu country finally has a mecha, and it is a self-developed giant mecha of light, which is a completely different shape from that of other forces. This has led to the fact that the Hindu people are no longer inferior, and their hearts are filled with infinite confidence. That night, it happened that Pussy of the Jianmeng Empire was holding a press conference. At the beginning of the press conference, before Pussy could speak, the Hindu reporters who had been timid became excited and squeezed from the corner to the front. He smiled confidently and said, "What do you think about the Hindu country's giant of light tiger?" No opinion. Often the louder the slogan, the weaker its strength. Pussy was slightly dissatisfied. If Mechas become popular in the future, it will not be so important. I'm not happy to see that someone has developed Mechas again. The Hindu reporter was a little unhappy. It was not easy for the motherland behind him to have Mechas. Of course, there must be a comparison. So he joked. Is the birth of Tiger a threat to dangerous wanderers? Pussy opened his mouth and hit him mercilessly. Oh, don't flip over. According to the law of pretending to flip over, the light giant Tiger will definitely flip over ruthlessly on the day of the display. After all, no one knows how to flip over better than me. All reporters. Did the King of Understanding attribute explode again? And the whole world was in an uproar. What does this mean? It turns out that the frequent flips of the Jianmeng Empire were deliberately done by the old guy Pussy. This scene was also broadcast live to the whole world. The Hindu people turned from joy to anger, and they were all trembling with anger. The damn Pussy must be jealous, so he deliberately cursed Tiger. Just wait and see. The light giant Tiger will definitely have an amazing debut, and will appear in people's vision in a super handsome way. And that day will definitely be a day that the whole world will remember. Later, as time passed, the world became quiet again. However, people all over the world have not forgotten the next show, the debut of the light giant Tiger, the Hindu Kingdom Mecha. As time approaches, the enthusiasm of the Hindu Kingdom continues to rise. At the same time, there is something strange on the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. The bottom of the sea is densely packed with monsters. The last time, all the weird monsters were here to guard the passage connecting to the other world, as if they were welcoming the king. Boom boom, the bottom of the sea shook, and the passage connecting to the other world emitted a scorching red light. A humanoid mecha appeared from the passage. Its size is not big, just a little bigger than the mecha of the Wangxian Empire. Through the dim light, it can be seen that this mysterious mecha is extremely sophisticated and seems to show an extremely powerful power. The appearance of the mysterious mecha immediately made the monsters guarding the passage lower their proud heads to show their submission. This mecha exudes a chilling momentum, and the red pupils made countless monsters feel the fear from the depths of their souls. Two more Mechas appeared in the passage, guarding the red-eyed mecha as if guarding the king. Without exception, these Mechas are all weapons controlled by aliens. They can not only control monsters, but also Mechas. Otherwise, they would not use space technology to open the space barrier in the vast universe and descend to the blue star. The boiling of the seabed did not calm down. After the mysterious mecha appeared, one monster after another appeared. Because the resistance of the blue star has attracted the attention of aliens, this time the appearance means that the aliens will come to rule this habitable planet. The process of the appearance of monsters is extremely long, because the number of monsters this time is more than before. Finally, after the monsters in the passage no longer appeared, the number of monsters in the seabed had reached a number that made people's scalps numb. And three mysterious Mechas broke through the water and flew high into the sky. The performance of the Mechas was very good, and the texture of metal flashed under the light, even stronger than the Mechas of the Wangxian Empire. They looked down at the next monsters in the atmosphere. If there is a force that kills the monsters, these three mysterious Mechas will appear to destroy the force that threatens the monsters on this planet. Of course, all this is not known yet. Because the monsters want to attract the attention of humans, they will first be discovered by the marine sonar monitoring stations of various countries. At the same time, humans all over the world are focused on the Inner Kingdom. Because the Inner Kingdom ushered in a very special day today, a day of universal celebration. The Inner Kingdom is going to display that giant of light tiger in the Tokyo Square of the Inner Kingdom. At this time, an extremely grand scene was ushered in. Countless people filled the entire square, and even the surrounding streets were overcrowded, and the traffic was directly paralyzed. In the middle of the square, there was a wide passage reserved by the staff. Everyone knew that it was reserved for the tiger. Thinking of witnessing the birth of the tiger, countless Hindu people were so excited that they could hardly control themselves. With a cheer, the whole audience was gradually infected, attracting countless people to follow. Long live the great Inner Kingdom! Long live the giant of light tiger! Long live His Majesty Songrin! The fanatical slogans lasted for a long time. The Hindu people were enthusiastic, as if they had returned to the days hundreds of years ago. Their ancestors had punched Lin Chen and Meng. And now the birth of Tiger may be the return of the glory of their ancestors. The Inner Kingdom is finally going to return to its peak. At this time, a long-lost smile appeared on the podium temporarily built in the square. From now on, no country in the world will dare to bully the Inner Kingdom. Not only that, the Inner Kingdom will also take revenge and will start with the Darker Kingdom. Mentioning Lunamo, Songrin was so angry that his teeth ached. That old thing is so abominable that he actually led the monster to Changi City to fight guerrilla warfare. Standing on the side of Songrin were the two ministers of internal and external affairs, and these two people also looked confident. In short, at this time, these three people were looking forward to the response after the appearance of Tiger. They want to ignite the world. Not long after Tiger was about to appear, the Inner Kingdom began to implement all the preparations. The signal was broadcast to the world for free, allowing countless people to witness this great deed. For a time, countless viewers around the world saw what was happening in the Inner Kingdom through TV. Although the giant of light tiger has not appeared yet, the enthusiasm of the global audience is also very high, and even their faces have shown a strong look of expectation, as if they are very eager to see the scene they expected in their hearts. For example, the Jianmeng audience, one by one, sat in front of the TV and shouted, "Turn over, turn over, turn over." The Garka audience. No one can escape the law of pretending to turn over. The Polar audience. Looking forward to turning over. In short, everyone has turned over before pretending to turn over, and your Inner Kingdom is not immune. Imskin audience. Chapter 231 Strength is not important, pretending is the key. The audience in front of the TV were all looking forward to the appearance of the light giant tiger. Soon. Under the attention of billions of people around the world. There were waves of loud footsteps in the distance of the square. Here soon, they came to a huge outline approaching quickly and gradually becoming clear. Finally, the light giant tiger appeared. Its appearance was completely displayed in front of everyone on the scene and the audience in front of the TV. The size of tiger is very different from that of the Mecha. Strictly speaking, it is more like a giant walking from a distance. Its feet and hands do not have the metallic texture of the Mecha, but there is a different kind of shock, which is very similar to the Ultraman that is popular on the internet. But this is not important at all. Every Hindu people opened their eyes wide and stared at this shocking scene for a long time, exclaiming sincerely, "It's on fire." Many people are looking forward to this tiger to beat the monster and show off its power. At this time, the global audience was also a little stupid. The Hindu country really made a giant. After a while, after being confused and bewildered, he suddenly realized. That's right. There is no rule that a mecha must have the appearance of a robot. As long as the internal structure is a robot, it is a mecha, and this tiger is just a shell that looks more like a human. At this time, tiger has reached the center of the square. The giant of light tiger stopped, and the energy in its body was fully stored before it came out. The driver remembered today's performance. The solar receiver on the top of the head was changed to an external speaker, and the power was turned to the maximum. Show. Tiger shone with a dazzling light, and even in the daytime, the audience on the scene still subconsciously closed their eyes. Then they shouted incoherently. Wow, Tiger is so strong. It can actually glow, it's so surprising. It's worthy at being the giant of light, so strong, so awesome. Countless Hindu people are now full of love for Tiger. This is a fanatical mentality. Because the birth of Tiger made countless Hindu people stand up proudly. Even if the monsters come, people can say no with confidence. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Global audience. What the hell? Could it be that the New Kingdom's Mecha has the function of flashlight lighting? At this time, the light on the scene dissipated. Tiger made a sound under the control of a pair of drivers inside, announcing the birth of Tiger. Hello, fellow Hindu people, hello, global TV viewers. Tiger is honored to receive the favor of the world's human beings on this day. In the days to come, Tiger will be transformed into light, bringing hope to mankind, defeating one monster after another, protecting your new kingdom, and protecting the blue planet. Keep showing off. Before, everyone else had finished showing off. Now it's finally the turn of Hindu Kingdom. They combined all the previous ways of showing off together to shock the audience. Countless Hindu people were infected by the sound of Tiger, their breathing was rapid, and they clenched their fists excitedly. Giant of light. Tiger is a giant that brings hope to mankind. Global audience. Inexplicably, I thought of the war fortress of the Gaga country. It seems that they also pretended to be so cool at the beginning. At this time, Song-rin had a smile on his face from beginning to end, and whispered to the Minister of Internal Affairs, "Let's start." The Minister of Internal Affairs nodded and notified the host on the scene to play that passionate national anthem. When the song slowly sounded, the host on the scene smiled and said, "Now please watch the battle performance of the light giant Tiger." Hector's Tiger took a starting position. Global audience. Then Tiger performed a series of difficult punches and kicks. For example, handstand splits, judo wrestling, etc. The movements were smooth and completed in one go. It was completed perfectly. At this moment, the live broadcast of Tiger was everywhere in the Hindu country, including the subway, bus, and TV in the building. All the Hindu people admire the invincible style of the great Tiger. Without exception, everyone was excited. There were very tacit slogans everywhere. Long live the great Hindu kingdom. Long live the giant of light, Tiger. The people were proud. Seeing this scene, Song-rin looked very proud. Perfect. This show was perfect. Strength is not important, handsomeness is the key, and pretending is the key. In the past, I only watched those two old guys, Pussy and Lin, pretending, but now I finally pretended as I wished. It turns out that pretending feels so good. But it's a pity. If there is a monster to practice with Tiger, it will be even more perfect. Finally, Song-rin shook his head regretfully. Soon, the Tiger display of the Hindu kingdom ended successfully. The whole show ended quite smoothly. Countless Hindu people were overjoyed and couldn't help but breathe. Excited. The pretending was successful. In the past, the Jianwang Empire pretended to be overturned, the Gaga Kingdom pretended to be overturned, and the Polar Empire and the Sun Never Sets Alliance pretended to be overturned. The Hindu kingdom was not infected by the misfortune of the Wangxian Empire. This is a feat worth bragging about. Today, the Hindu kingdom should celebrate. Audiences around the world. What about the car overturn? Who can tell me why the Hindu kingdom's Tiger didn't overturn? At this time, Pussy, Lin, Nicholas and others were watching the live broadcast on TV in different places. Until the end of the Hindu kingdom's pretense, there was no rhythm of any overturn. So angry, why can Song-rin, that little jerk, succeed in pretending? At this time, the group of monsters on the bottom of the Pacific Ocean rioted, and the dense monsters went towards the Wangxian Empire. Of course, everyone didn't know all this. The Wangxian Empire has not yet noticed the approach of danger. However, the Wangxian Empire does not have the perverted mentality of the Jianwang Empire and other forces that if I overturn, everyone must overturn. For the Wangxian Empire, it has not yet felt the taste of pretending to overturn. The Empire has no chance to overturn. Do you say it's angry? Ha, so angry. Many Wangxian shook their heads. There is no way. If you want to overturn, you have to look at your strength, and the strength of the Empire does not allow overturning. Even Lin Chen was slightly surprised. What happened? Why didn't they crash? How dare they brag? How come they are all weak, but they are all the best at pretending? Lin Chen said, what a pity. It would be great if the monster appeared in the end country at this time. I will make you pay the price for pretending. He just finished speaking. As the sea monster approached, it was finally discovered by the sea sonar monitoring station. Beep beep beep, the equipment connected to the sea monitoring station sent a warning sound, which immediately woke up the thoughts of the control room. The control room looked at the equipment in astonishment and hesitated. What is this? Then, he reacted and immediately showed a deep solemnity on his face. The last time the monster disappeared strangely, things often develop in a strange direction, so its seriousness is absolutely immeasurable. He quickly called Lin Chen on video. The sonar monitoring station found the monster. Lin Chen was also stunned. Where? But he had nothing to worry about. Because the Empire's Mecha will make the monster never come back. It's Jinshi's no. 2 Marine sonar monitoring station. Monsters have been found. 10, 100, 500, 1900. The warning sounded again. Beep beep, the controller said. There are too many monsters to detect accurate data. Lin Chen's mood was no longer relaxed, and it suddenly sank. Jinshi is not only his home, but also one of the important cities in the Empire. It borders the capital, so the location where the monsters appear this time is really not good news. What kind of number is it that even the Marine sonar monitoring station can't detect it? But it is certain that the monsters this time will definitely not be as easy to deal with as before, because there are too many of them, so many that even the excellent performance of the Mecha can't beat 4 hands with 2 fists. It's good that they were successfully eliminated. If they were not eliminated, it would definitely be an unprecedented disaster. Chapter 232. The lips and teeth are cold, and maybe there will be a driver killed. Because the number of monsters that appear this time is several times more than the Mecha. Lin Chen has never doubted his research, but this time there is no reason not to worry. Jinshi pushed the door in and said, "Why did the monster appear suddenly?" Lin Chen said, "Go to the Joint System headquarters." Jinshi worriedly said, "Will you go?" Lin Chen smiled and said, "Don't worry, I won't go unless it's the most dangerous time." Jinshi nodded, and then went to the Joint System headquarters. At present, the best thing in misfortune is that the establishment of the Marine sonar monitoring station has given the Empire time to prepare. And Lin Chen also came to the command room and used a microphone to transmit his voice to a corner of the base. "I'm Lin Chen, everyone listen to my orders, now into the first level combat state. The second Marine sonar monitoring station has found traces of monsters, and a large number of monsters are heading towards Jinxing. All drivers are going to attack, the location is Jinxi." For a while, the alarm in that base sounded. The crew members began to urgently deploy Mechas. The drivers also rushed to the runway from all directions. On the other side, after the command office confirmed the news that the monster was about to attack, it immediately became busy. It was heard that the Mecha troops were not completely sure that they could resist the monster this time, so they immediately dispatched the Legion to protect the safety of Jin City. In addition to the 1st and 4th Legions, several nearby legions were on their way to Jin City. At the same time, the population of Jin City was also transferred, and even the capital was planning to transfer matters. For the safety of the people, the imperial officials had to do this. Soon after, the army and Mechas were stationed in Jin City. The war was about to break out. Such a large-scale sudden action was soon spread all over the world by people with ulterior motives. The monster is going to attack the Wangxian Empire. This news was like a hurricane sweeping the world quickly. Not long after the Yin Kingdom pretended to be powerful, monsters appeared. But did those monsters go to the wrong place? Why did they go to the Wangxian Empire to get beaten instead of letting the Yin Kingdom return? The news of the appearance of the monster soon entered the eyes of the leaders of many forces. "Oh, fuck, why don't these damn monsters go to the Yin Kingdom?" Pussy was furious. Right now, the monsters went to the Wangxian Empire to die, and he hoped that the monsters would go to the Yin Kingdom to make Song Rin, that little jerk, fail. Nicholas of the Polar Empire was also very annoyed. Why didn't the monsters go to the Yin Kingdom to slap him in the face and let him pretend? Everyone failed. Why can the Yin Kingdom have such good luck? At night, the Wangxian Empire once again threw an unprecedented bomb. It is expected that more than 3,000 large monsters will appear this time, and more than 5,000 small monsters. As soon as the news came out, the world was in an uproar. Sure enough, every time a monster appears, it will bring a greater disaster. My God, is this the end of our human race? It must be the monsters brought by the damn Yin Kingdom. If they hadn't insisted on pretending, the monsters would not have appeared. I'm more worried about whether the Wangxian Empire can survive. That night, countless people talked about the Wangxian Empire, and a desperate and complicated feeling was inevitably born in their words. Every time a monster appears, it will make countless people nervous. From the first appearance of a monster, there was only one, but after only a few appearances, there are already tens of thousands of them. What will happen in the future? Will humans live underground forever, and will they never see the sun? Pussy sat up from the bed, no longer sleepy, and never expected that there would be so many monsters this time. I thought the monsters were blind and had to go to the Wangxian Empire to die, but who would have thought that from the data released by the Wangxian Empire, this is simply a world-destroying crisis. The number of large monsters and small monsters combined is already tens of thousands. Even if the mecha of the Wang's Empire is so powerful, it is impossible to destroy so many monsters. Pussy hurriedly put on his clothes overnight and went straight to the office. In a very short time, all the senior officials of the Jianmeng Empire gathered here, without exception. Their faces showed a solemn look. Pussy said worriedly, "Let's talk about it. Should we wait and see or give a helping hand?" The people below were silent for a few seconds, and immediately began to express their opinions. Give them a helping hand. After all, we were allies before. Now that Wang's Empire is in trouble, it would be unreasonable if we don't help. Of course we have to help. We will get back all the gold we extorted from us before. I suggest helping. Helping Wang's Empire will eventually improve the image of our Jianmeng Empire. The benefits outweigh the disadvantages. I second the motion. Not only should we help, but we should also spare no effort. If Wang's Empire can't stop the monsters, then we may also suffer in the future. Many high-level officials have almost the same goal. They all think that they should help Wang's Empire to resist the monsters. Although, the high-level officials present have always been very unhappy with Wang's Empire. And they've always been fighting openly and secretly, but don't forget that both Wang's and Jianmeng have one thing in common, that is, they are both human beings, and they are two completely different races from the monsters from outer space. Suddenly, an opposing voice sounded. I don't agree, Jianmeng Empire can't help Wang's Empire. The great elder of the Senate, Karabakit, appeared with a gloomy face. Pussy said angrily, "Come here, please get this old guy out." Then, two of Pussy's confidants entered the office and immediately confronted Karabakit. "Oh, fuck, Pussy, you devil, I'm the great elder of the Senate, how dare you disrespect me, you devil is a spy sent by the Wang's Empire." The old body of Karabakit shouted incoherently on the bodyguard's shoulder. The sound gradually faded, and the world was finally quiet. Pussy showed a sneer at the corner of his mouth. The Senate. The incident of being cheated by the Senate before was still vivid in his mind. Otherwise, why would he pretend to be so often to develop confidence and influence? The office fell into a strange silence. Pussy's face regained calmness and said, "Send all our dangerous wanderers to assist the Wang's Empire in the shortest time." At the same time, the Polar Empire and the Sun Never Sets Alliance also issued almost the same orders as the Jianmeng Empire, leaving no spare effort to assist the Wang's Empire to survive this wave of monster disasters. It's not that they want to help, but they have to help. Now everyone is really in danger. If the Wang's Empire is gone, who can resist the huge number of monsters? Are they going to release nuclear bombs? Everyone shook their heads frantically. The large amount of nuclear dust after the nuclear explosion is enough to exterminate humans. And this is why no one is willing to use nuclear weapons, whether it is monsters or mimic aliens, even if there is still a glimmer of hope for humans. Because this is a Pandora's box. If someone uses nuclear weapons first, others will follow suit. Here. The Wang's Empire didn't know that there were already several forces in the world that were more anxious than them, and they sent Mechas to help in a hurry. At this time, the former Jinchu was in a state of depression, and all personnel had been arranged to evacuate. This is destined to be a sleepless night. Most people in the Empire stayed up all night to care about the situation in Jinchi, and even many people around the world did not sleep peacefully. It can be said that this monster attack has affected the minds of everyone in the world. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 233. Fighting in Despair. The next day. Early in the morning, countless people around the world couldn't help holding their breath. Because from the live broadcast of the Wang's Empire, the Wang's warriors have entered the combat state and rushed to their respective combat positions. The coastline not far away is still calm, but everyone knows that this is just a moment of calm before the storm. It's fine if the monster doesn't appear, but once it appears, it will definitely be a shocking event. After a while, shadows of each other undulating appeared on the distant sea level, which was endless and difficult to see the end. The Wang's Empire did not choose to sit and wait for death, but chose to attack decisively. Each combat unit aims on its own saturation strike. With the order of the trumpeter. All heavy firepower on the short battlefield loaded ammunition. There are more than 2,000 tanks, rocket launchers, howitzers, and other weapons. Fire. Then, tanks, artillery and other heavy weapons began to release ammunition. The scene was earth-shaking. The dense shells were like raindrops, enough to make the whole world brighter. Boom, 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 bang, bang, bang. The sound of the shells exploding seemed to tear the sky apart, and even the people far away in the capital could clearly hear the roar of the artillery fire. At the same time, countless water splashes were blown up, splashing seawater that was more violent than a rainstorm. But it was useless. Such firepower seemed very fierce, but it was still a little bit short of fighting monsters. You have to know that monsters have protective shields, especially when a large group of monsters appear with protective shields, so it is difficult to cause too much substantial damage to them. Endless artillery fire is still venting. La la, one after another, the monsters broke through the water surface, and their huge bodies like mountains were like thousands of mountains and ridges born in the water, which was extremely visually impactful. Suddenly, the air around them suddenly became sticky, and the whole scene seemed to be suppressed by an invisible and intangible giant. The originally whistling sound of the shells exploding suddenly quieted down at this moment, and the scene became quiet. All the Wang Xin warriors felt numb on their scalps, and their legs became weak, as if they were filled with lead and could hardly move. At this moment, the endless monsters landed on Jingqing City. They are huge, their defense is amazing, and they are not good people. It can be said that each monster is a disaster. At this moment, this group of endless monsters, not to mention the extinction of all mankind, it is estimated that there is absolutely no problem in destroying the whole world. At this moment, strange despair permeated the hearts of people all over the world. Countless people sat in front of the TV and made the most pious prayers. I underestimated the monsters before. I felt a burst of horror when there were so many monsters across the screen. How can we fight this? I believe that the Mechas of the Wang's Empire will definitely be able to destroy the monsters. Damn, this is better than any special effects in any movie, but we don't want to continue watching it at all. It's too heartbreaking. People talked and discussed on the internet. Without exception, everyone would put themselves into the scene of the monsters just by taking a look, and then they would be exhausted. Facing thousands of monsters, unless one is a strong person, no one can escape the extreme fear. Suddenly, countless people held their breath again, because they saw on TV that the monsters were about to land. Compared with these monsters as big as mountains, the warriors of Wang's Empire were even smaller than ants. At this time, in Jinshi, Wang's Empire, the battle was about to break out. Monsters have already landed. Yin. A monster that first landed roared, as if announcing to humans the new master of Azure Star. And then, more monsters landed at the port of the city. Fire. Boom, boom, boom. A burst of dense artillery shells were fired, and the damage to the monsters was negligible. Even after a round of intensive attacks, it was barely possible to break the monster's energy shield. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The Mechas were dispatched. At present, the total number of Mechas in Wang's Empire, including the test machines, is 512. And this time, all the Mechas were dispatched without any spare power. Chirp, chirp, chirp. Bright rays of light penetrated the monster's body. It was obvious that the power of the particle beam gun was more lethal to monsters than thermal weapons. It didn't take long to destroy a monster. But unfortunately, there were too many monsters. If it was a one-on-one battle, the Mecha would definitely beat the monster. But now, a pilot was fighting several or even dozens of monsters at the same time. Even with the advantage of weapons, it seemed to be more difficult to fight with only these hundreds of Mechas in the face of thousands of monsters. Soon, the scene became a real battlefield. The Mechas and monsters started a fierce battle. However, this battle did not have much advantage for the Mechas, because there were too many monsters. When the monsters took off, they were attracted to the sea by the Mechas. Undoubtedly, the Mechas did not have much room for movement, because they had to avoid the attacks of thousands of monsters, and they had to keep shuttling around the monsters' bodies, not letting the monsters return to Jinshi, and even more so, they had to guard against the projectiles in the mouths of the four-winged lizard beasts. This meant a battle in hell mode. La la, one after another, the monsters died and fell into the sea, causing a huge wave. However, the situation of the Mecha troops was also very bad. The particle barrier could not stop the attacks from all directions, or the collision of the monsters' bodies. Yin. A four-winged lizard beast fired energy matter from its mouth, and the energy storm with electric arcs hit a Mecha. Boom, boom. This humanoid Mecha exploded, and the driver was unfortunately killed, and fell into the sea with a thick fire. Boom, boom. Another Mecha was unfortunately killed, and was caught by a monster, and then the two huge front claws tore it hard, directly tearing the body in half. The driver just jumped off the mecha and was instantly swallowed by a lizard beast wandering nearby. This scene was broadcast live to the world. The mood of all the audience immediately sank. The mecha that had won many battles was actually destroyed by two monsters. Everyone's scalp tingled when they thought of the Mechas of the Wang's Empire fighting in an almost desperate situation. It is undeniable that the Mechas and pilots of the Wang's Empire are excellent, but there are too many monsters, which limits the mobility of the Mechas. At this time, the monsters attacked the Wang's Empire, and the mecha troops had moved the battlefield from destroying the city to the sky above the sea. The cruelty of the battlefield was beyond everyone's imagination. The Mechas of the Wang's Empire kept shuttling through the dense group of monsters as if they had won, and from time to time they would destroy a monster, and then fall into the sea and set off a huge wave. Similarly, the Empire's Mechas would occasionally be destroyed, and almost every time a monster destroyed a mecha, the driver inside would also die. Both sides suffered casualties. Although the number of monsters destroyed was large, and the Mechas and pilots would occasionally die, the ratio was too large, so even if the Wang's Empire exchanged one mecha for 50 large four-winged lizard beasts, it would still be a loss. Such a battle lasted from morning to evening. Of course, it wasn't that the Mechas of the Wang's Empire destroyed all the monsters, but that the monsters retreated like a tide, sinking to the bottom of the sea and disappearing without a trace. This scene was broadcast live around the world, and all the viewers. Chapter 234. Red-eyed mecha driven by aliens. Humans all over the world didn't react, and were all dumbfounded. How come the monsters were so fierce 1 second ago, but in the next second, they all disappeared into the sea? But temporarily putting aside why the monsters suddenly disappeared into the sea, at least humans got a short respite. After a few seconds of silence, countless people around the world, black, yellow, and white, cheered. We won. Every region of the world was cheering. Even Pussy, Nicholas and others sat on their chairs with a sense of relief. As a community of humans, when the terrifying monsters were all in the air and almost covered the sky, they were already thinking about using nuclear weapons. Fight? Just use the pocket Mechas of the Wang's Empire to fight? Will it be over until the world is destroyed by the monsters? This is almost a matter of life and death for mankind. But in the end, the monster disappeared strangely again, which made everyone feel relieved. Then the leaders of many forces immediately changed their minds. Since the monsters were gone, they would definitely go and blackmail the Wang's Empire. Otherwise, it would be a shame to mobilize so many troops to help them this time. Almost the same order. Go to the Wang's Empire next. Although we didn't help, the runway fee must be paid. Don't dare not give it. Show off your power at their doorstep. Then, the Dangerous Tears Unit, the Alpha Unit, the Angel Unit, and the Terror Killer Unit all set off for the Wang's Empire again, ready to do something big. At this time, the Wang's Empire. All the Wang's soldiers in Jinshi sat on the ground with a look of almost fainting. This day's battle was even more tiring than the training. Because there were monsters in front of them and home behind them. So they could not take a step back. Too soon, several helicopters flew back from the direction of the sea and landed smoothly at the port. Immediately, all the hundreds of thousands of soldiers present stood up, straightened their bodies, took off their military caps and looked heavy. Have the bodies been found? Lin Chen hurried over and asked the salvage team in the helicopter. We found 29 bodies, 1 missing, and 8 killed by monsters. Alas, a sigh, accompanied by an atmosphere of separation and death, filled the entire scene. Some of the pilots had just reached adulthood and died in this battle. Revenge. On the other side, aid from several countries was still heading to the Wang's Empire. When preparing all the runway fees, no one knew that at this time, at almost the same altitude in the atmosphere of the Azure Star, 3 mysterious Mechas were spying on everything. These 3 Mechas were exactly the Mechas controlled by aliens. The red-eyed Mecha had already obtained several different Mechas using high technology, and then said to itself, I didn't expect that the planets in the Andromeda Galaxy were really unexpected. There would be humans and Mechas. One of the 2 guard Mechas made a puzzled voice. Admiral Sarah, why do you want the slaves to retreat? Slaves refer to monsters, the giant creatures they enslave. Catch all threats to slavery on this planet. The guard Mecha was a little confused. The data shows that there are several types of Mechas on this planet that are converging to one place. I want slavery to annihilate these Mechas in one fell swoop and completely destroy all weapons on this planet that threaten slavery. The red-eyed Mecha made a confident voice. But as soon as he finished speaking, he was stunned. The data was refreshed again, and a kind of nondescript mecha was missed, and it was not on the way to converge. The aliens in the red-eyed mecha immediately changed the combat deployment. If this mecha does not move, let slavery hit it, and let all the Mechas on this planet change their gathering places under the crisis of the world. Then a strange comparison the next day. The ships of the Jianmeng Empire and other forces transported all the Mechas to the sea near the Wangzi Empire to show off their power. Anyway, the world is peaceful again, so we must deal with the Wangzi Empire. The representatives of the countries who negotiated with each other have already sat in the negotiation room with the representatives of the Wangzi Empire. The quarrels were so intense that their faces turned red and their necks became thick. The Jianmeng representative slammed the table and roared, "Give us gold, 100 tons, and rare minerals brought back from Mars." It was as if as long as he slammed the table and the sound was loud, the Wangzi Empire would definitely compromise. It was so satisfying. The Wangzi Empire blackmailed the Jianmeng Empire in the past, and now he finally had a chance to take revenge. The negotiating representative of the Gaka Kingdom was also clamoring, "Yes, we're here to assist you. Although we didn't help, we must give you the runway fee, 100,000 tons of gold." The negotiating representatives of other forces also had an attitude that the runway fee must be given. If you don't give it, you will bear the consequences. The representative of the Wangzi Empire was furious. Of course there is a runway fee. After all, they had good intentions before and chose to stand on the same front with a common destiny. When they did not receive the news of the Empire's assistance, they took the initiative to send all their Mechas to assist. But who would have thought that the monsters retreated strangely, and the world gained a brief peace again? These forces immediately turned against each other, and it only took a very short time from assistance to blackmail. They actually wanted to blackmail? Look at them all, they are just dreaming. Then several negotiators were almost bare-chested, and they were going to solve the problem in the most primitive way. However, they didn't know that although the monster disappeared strangely again, it would not remain silent for several months like before. Because under the control of the red-eyed mecha alien, the monster now went to the Enu Kingdom, in order to attract all the Mechas on this planet together, and then destroy all the threats of the Blue Star in one fell swoop. Soon, the Enu Kingdom detected the monster's information from the offshore sonar monitoring station. Panic. Unprecedented panic. The monster is coming. The Enu Kingdom immediately caused an uproar in the world again. Urgent request for all assistance. According to the feedback from the offshore sonar monitoring station, thousands of monsters are coming to our Enu Kingdom, suspected to be the monster that appeared in the Wangzi Empire yesterday, and we beg for support from all forces. The whole world. Oh, that's right. Pretending to be awesome may be late, but it will never be absent. The monster was going to the Enu Kingdom. It must have gone to the wrong place when it went to the Wangzi Empire yesterday. And this news immediately stopped the quarrels at the negotiation table of the Wangzi Empire. The monster is coming again. All the forces showed solemnity again. To be honest, the little scoundrel like the Enu Kingdom is not only disliked by the Wangzi Empire, but also disliked by the Jianmeng Empire and other forces. When the monster was about to attack the Wangzi Empire, it was heard that this was an unprecedented disaster. It can be said that all the forces with Mechas in the world sent Mechas, but the only one missing was the Dagger of the Enu Kingdom. Even so, the Enu Kingdom had the nerve to brag that the Dagger was light. Then in a very short time, the representatives of several forces at the negotiation table communicated with their respective countries and reached a unanimous decision. The Enu Kingdom is an island country. It is located between the three empires of Wangzi, Jidai, and Jianmeng. So help must be helped. If the monster destroys the Enu Kingdom, it may attack that force next time. Therefore, it is best to destroy the monsters in the Enu country, which can avoid fighting on the homeland, and there is no need to worry about the destruction of buildings and facilities. However, how to help is a big question. Chapter 235. He appeared handsomely but died quickly. Of course, we have to wait for the ticket of the Enu Kingdom to be slapped in the face before we go to help. Now everyone wants to see how the Enu Kingdom is slapped in the face. Let them pretend to be successful. At this time, the Enu Kingdom is in a precarious doomsday scene. The tragic degree of the Wangzi Empire yesterday is still vivid in everyone's mind. As a result, today, thousands of monsters have come to the Enu Kingdom. Some timid Enu people have begun to sell their property, or go abroad or hide in the countryside. In short, the city is the most unsafe place, and there are even signs of riots. At this time, in order to prevent the panic from spreading, the official Enu Kingdom immediately issued a national notice. Please don't panic, our new kingdom has the light giant Tiger, and the Mechas of various countries in the world are on their way to help us. I believe that this time Tiger will unite all the Mechas in the world to eliminate all the monsters. In fact, the official meaning of the new kingdom is very simple, that is, to bring a glimmer of hope to the people. Otherwise, before the monsters come to attack, the atmosphere of panic will make countless people in the new kingdom do crazy things. But the people understand it completely differently. After analysis, the original panic immediately dissipated. Yes, they have the giant of light, Tiger, so why should they be afraid of monsters? Not to mention thousands of monsters, even if there are 10 or 100 times more, Tiger can turn all the monsters upside down. We have Tiger, so why are we afraid of monsters? I want to see the monsters die tragically, I want to climb on the monsters' corpses to take pictures. Many people reacted and stopped panicking. This is the affirmation of the strength of Tiger by countless Yinu people. What kind of rubbish monsters, as long as they dare to come to your new country, Tiger will definitely teach those ugly creatures a lesson and let them know what is handsome. One by one, they are like chicken blood, looking forward to Tiger becoming the hope of mankind and bringing light to the world. That's how confident. Countless Yinu people have developed an extremely confident mentality. And here, Emperor Songrin of the Yinu country is heading to the secret base with a complicated face. All countries have agreed to come to help, but the action is dragging. He knew that the reason for the delay was to wait for the Yinu country to fail. If the Yinu country did not fail, the Mechas of various countries would never enter the Yinu country. Therefore, the pilots of the Tiger must die for the Yinu country. The death of the two pilots can be exchanged for the safety of the Yinu country. After a while, Songrin came to the secret base and found the two brothers Diegu, the pilots of the Tiger. Songrin smiled naturally and said, "It may take some time for the aid from various countries to arrive, but the monsters will appear in advance, and what you do as heroes of the Yinu country is to delay that time as much as possible, and try to delay it until the Mechas of various countries arrive." He was right in the latter, because once he said it, the Diegu brothers might not go to die. The driver Diegu brothers were also a little worried. The two hesitated for a long time and asked worriedly, "With so many monsters, it may be difficult to complete the task with only one Tiger. Apart from anything else, those monsters can crush the Tiger to death even if they are crushed. As warriors of the Great Yinu Kingdom, are you afraid?" "We are not afraid." "Very good, I wish you two good luck in your military career. When you win the first battle, you will be the heroes of the Yinu Kingdom, and beauties, fame, and status will be at your fingertips." The pilots of the Tiger, the brothers Diegu, were so excited by what Songrin said that their faces flushed with excitement. "It's time for me to show off. I will go even if there are thousands of monsters." That's right, as long as they can delay the monsters for a certain period of time and wait for them Mechas from all over the world to come to their aid, they will be the heroes of the Yinu Kingdom in the future. By then, the eldest daughter and the young wife will be at their fingertips. The next day, at noon, the monsters were about to reach the offshore area of the Yinu Kingdom. The fleets of Wang Xin, Jianwang and other countries with Mechas were still slowly rushing towards the Yinu Kingdom. If they didn't see the Tiger overturn, they would use various excuses to delay that time for assistance. Furious, Songrin glanced at the position of the joint fleet of various countries, gritted his teeth, and started a live broadcast in the range, wanting to show the bravery of the Tiger to the world. Global live broadcast. The audience reached 6 billion. No matter what the result was, at least the live broadcast started by the Yinu Kingdom had the most viewers. Because everyone was looking forward to the Mechas of various countries to work together and show their skills to defend world peace. Under the attention of hundreds of millions of viewers around the world, a shadow appeared in the distance, and the outline of this shadow could be seen soon. It was the Tiger. It was running towards the place where the monster was about to land. Every time the other huge bodies moved, they brought real smoke and dust, and the earthquake shook the mountains. When it was about to approach, the Tiger jumped up, performed a gorgeous somersault in the air, and landed at the designated location. The world was quiet. At this moment, the Tiger became the focus of the world's attention. On TV, the Tiger wore a huge white headscarf, and the two ribbons behind his head swayed in the wind. Very handsome. Very cool. There is a kind of momentum that one man can block the pass and 10,000 men cannot open it. What dangerous wanderers and Wangxin Mechas have to stand aside, no matter how handsome they are, they have to bow down in front of Tiger. Suddenly, the whole world was quiet. Countless spectators were admiring the bravery of Tiger. Even if thousands of monsters are about to appear, Tiger did not show any cowardice, but was ready to withstand the attack of monsters on its own and delay the arrival of Mechas from various countries. Countless people in the End country were surprised, and then they burst into high spirits. Wow, Tigger is worthy of being a giant of light. It will become the light of hope to protect the whole world. It is absolutely not an exaggeration to say that this courage is the strongest mecha. May it be the strongest mecha. Since the Hindu country saw Tigger appear, cheers rang out one after another. At the same time, the driver Diego brother was still a little guilty. When he thought about blocking the endless monsters alone, his scalp would numb and his calves would become weak. However, at this moment, all negative emotions disappeared. Because the two pilots, the Diego brothers, felt the cheers from countless citizens. Those cheers seemed to turn into a series of illusory mysterious forces and entered their bodies. This is the power given by the people, enough to destroy everything. At this moment, the pair of pilot brothers are no longer guilty and trembling, because the people have given them endless powerful power, and they even feel that they have become real Superman for a time. Half an hour later, the monster appeared and was about to land at any time. One after another, huge monsters broke through the sea surface and turned into movable mountains. The world was watching, and all the audience subconsciously held their breath. Song Rin's heart was very complicated. The pride of the Hindu country was about to be gone. But he had to do it. If he didn't sacrifice the Tigger, the Mechas of various countries would never come to the Hindu country for support. The monsters started to go crazy after they appeared. Countless monsters ran wild and rushed to the shore with unparalleled power. The speed was very fast, and even the seawater was pushed to both sides to form a huge shallow water area wherever they passed. The monsters had not yet arrived, but a powerful momentum swept over, and immediately overwhelmed the pilots of the Tigger, the brothers Diego, and turned pale. Bagger, that old guy Song Rin clearly wants us to die. Run! The two shouted. What about blocking the monster to buy time for the Mechas coming to support the various countries? What about the heroes of the Hindu country? What about the giant of light is the light of hope? All of this is fake. Then the Tigger was about to escape, but the monsters had already arrived. More than a dozen four-winged lizard beasts took off into the air, opened their bloody mouths, and there were a lot of firing reactions. The next second, more than a dozen energy storms with arcs covered the Tigger that had just turned around and fled with a force that seemed to destroy everything. Soon, a large amount of energy matter dissipated, and it could be seen that the Tigger was gone, and there was not a single slack of the Tigger. Audiences around the world. Oh, what the hell? He was very handsome when he appeared, but died quickly. He was still showing off in various ways a second ago, but he turned over. Moreover, the posture of the rollover was also very novel. The monster killed him instantly with one move, leaving him with only a trace of what was left. Chapter 236 The appearance of the mysterious Mecha. It was quiet. The Hindu country fell into a strange silence. Countless Hindu people were watching the live broadcast with dull faces. They watched with their own eyes that the Tigger, which was just showing off, was killed in one move. That was a Hindu warrior. Being killed in 1 second by a monster would be fine, but not only did it bring no hope to anyone, but the Tigger also brought despair to all the Hindu people. It simply tarnished the high-sounding title of the Giant of Light. Bagaloo. Countless Hindu people roared the most angrily. Without the Tigger, what else could the Hindu country use to resist those thousands of monsters? At this time, Song Rin exhaled a foul breath. The Tigger was finally dead. It died for a good reason. His death was great. It withstood the monster for a few seconds and also bought a few seconds for the Mechas from various countries to come to help. Then, when he looked at the location of the joint fleet carrying Mechas from various countries, a smile appeared on his lips. As long as the Hindu country held on for a moment, the Mechas from various countries would arrive. Soon, monsters began to sweep across the Hindu country. When thousands of monsters appeared together, it was undoubtedly an unprecedented disaster. There was no need for the monsters to attack. The overwhelming monsters were like a plague of locusts. They hardly stayed in any city for a moment. The huge number of monsters was enough to sweep everything. A city could not resist them at all. When the monsters swept through the city, it would become a mess of ruins, dead and wailing everywhere. In just 1 hour, the monsters destroyed 3 large cities in the Hindu kingdom. Nothing could stop them. At this time, the monsters were approaching the 4th city. The densely packed mountains and the giant outline that covered the sky appeared in the city's field of vision. Countless Hindu people panicked and rushed out of the city in panic. Mom, the monster has come in, run. Don't push, I'm a star, a queen, let me go first. Why is the monster so fast? Wasn't it hundreds of kilometers away from us just now? Didn't the expert professor say that it would take 2 days for the monster to destroy here? The entire country was in chaos, without a trace of order. Under the unprecedented disaster, they had no choice but to flee the city. Otherwise, the city would be the burial place of mankind. But can humans be faster than monsters? There is no doubt that the city soon suffered a devastating blow. Buildings collapsed and countless facilities were destroyed. At this moment, the Inu people, regardless of their status, were trapped in the monsters from all directions and issued the most desperate request for help. Who will save me? I don't want to die yet. Many people have closed their eyes in despair, because death is no longer a suspense. Just when everyone was waiting to die, the Mechas of various countries finally arrived at the scene. They came to destroy the monsters, to guard the planet, and to die for their companions. It can be said that everyone has an irreconcilable hatred with monsters. Perhaps, they were once in a contest of open and secret struggles, but at this moment, everyone put aside their prejudices and planned to eliminate monsters in Inu country. After all, Inu country is not their homeland, and they don't care about the buildings and facilities here. A pair of fierce drivers shouted, "Oh, fuck, I never thought that the former enemies would become allies now. I never thought that there would be such a day, but they're lucky. If it weren't for the appearance of monsters, I really want to punch them all now. Haha, I have been unhappy with the Wang's Empire for a long time. After solving the monsters this time, I must give them a good beating," the drivers said as they rushed in this direction. Although they all said all kinds of awesome things, there was no moth in this battle. After arriving at the scene, all Mechas immediately launched an attack at the first time. Chirp chirp swoosh swoosh boom boom boom. The attacks with their own characteristics went towards the monsters. The Mechas of the Wang's Empire started fighting in the sky, while the Mechas of other forces started fighting with the monsters on the ground. Entering the combat state, they immediately caught the monsters off guard and successfully attracted the monsters to stop destroying the city and instead target these Mechas. In the city, the people who were originally desperate immediately burst into tears of joy. Everyone couldn't help but get excited. Without experiencing the despair of the edge of death, you can't experience the feeling of surviving a disaster. It's finally here. The Mechas of various countries have finally arrived. The Mechas are coming. That's the Mecha of the Wang's Empire. That's the dangerous wanderer. That's the Alpha. That's the Angel. The desperate Inu people were shouting wildly before. When these Mechas are united, there is a great chance of destroying the monsters. Everyone is excited. Even the human beings all over the world are happy. But suddenly an untimely voice sounded. "Bagaloo, I actually saw a large group of terrifying killers leading monsters to us." Everyone's face immediately sank. No need to guess, those terrifying killers must be from the hateful Gaka country. At this time, both the monsters and the Mechas didn't care about the Inu people who had survived the city by chance. The battle was about to break out. Yin with the roar of the monster, the two sides officially started fighting. In the sky, the Mechas of the Wang's Empire were fighting with the four-winged lizard beast, and on the ground, the Mechas of various countries were fighting with the four-winged lizard beast that had not taken off. At this time, the Mechas of the Wang's Empire had the most brilliant record. Because they were less restrained, they could make full use of the super mobility of the Mechas to grind the monsters to death bit by bit, unlike yesterday, when they had to attract the monsters all the time and prevent them from returning to Jinshi. One monster after another died. The battle seemed to be tilting towards the human side. The city under their feet was reduced to ruins, and countless people around the world were still excited and clenched their fists. The battle continued, and the number of monsters was decreasing. It lasted for 5 hours, and both the monsters and the Mechas began to show signs of fatigue. The corpses of the monsters on the ground had piled up like a mountain, and many Mechas of various countries were scrapped, and even several Mechas of the Wang's Empire were unfortunately killed. The two sides fought hard to determine the winner. But at this moment, the sky remembered a burst of incomprehensible Buddhist chanting, and then all the monsters seemed to have received some orders, and they all gave up the attack and flew up, flying high in all directions. All the pilots were stunned, looking at the strange behavior of the monsters in disbelief. In the Wang's Empire, Jinshi was always paying attention to the situation on the battlefield, and couldn't help but say, "Are you going to escape?" Even the whole world was puzzled, why the monsters were getting more and more weird. But the next scene immediately made everyone in the world look gloomy. 3 mysterious Mechas appeared in the sky, and those monsters seemed to be in the same group as the 3 mysterious Mechas, and were constantly wandering around them. Almost the whole world is thinking, what is the origin of those 3 Mechas? The 3 Mechas are all different from all the Mechas on the Azure Star. Although they are also humanoid and slightly larger than the Mechas of the Wangxi Empire, you can tell at a glance that they are definitely not the Mechas of the Wangxi Empire. The mysterious Mecha has a cool shape and a combat-like appearance. Every part of the body is obviously very sophisticated technology. When Lin Chen saw this scene, he immediately notified all the pilots far away in the End Kingdom to be careful and try to attack remotely to find out the truth. Then, he quickly went to the hangar. It seems that it is time to use the most powerful mecha test machine. The three mysterious Mechas that appeared in the End Kingdom are the aliens who control the monsters. They want to destroy all weapons on this planet that threaten the monsters. The voice of the chant came from the red-eyed Mecha in the lead, and no one knew what this voice meant. Eye of the Wangxi Empire flew into the sky in the Tianlong, wondering, where did this Mecha come from? Yi Chuan was also puzzled. What do you mean by singing karaoke when you don't agree with something? Did you come to the wrong place? But no one dared to act on their own. This Tianji Mecha is a mystery, unknown to everyone, especially since they seem to have some connection with monsters. At this time, the mysterious chanting continued to resound throughout the world, and the mysterious red-eyed Mecha changed color, as if some kind of energy was flowing, turning the whole body into a red glow. The red body straightened up, and the shoulder area also unfolded at the same time, revealing two blue lens-like parts. The secret base of the Jianmeng Empire detected the abnormality of the battlefield, immediately connected everyone's communication, and shouted, "Not good, all Mechas quickly retreat, there is a lot of supernatural energy gathering near the mysterious red-eyed Mecha." Chapter 237 Killing Everything. No one knows the origin of these three mysterious Mechas. However, the secret Mechas of Jianmeng Empire have detected a kind of energy that they have not yet touched, and they are surging towards the mysterious Mecha with red pupils. All the pilots did not hesitate at all, nor did they doubt the warning sent by Jianmeng Empire. At present, everyone is an ally. So many Mechas almost immediately quickly moved away from this area. At this time, two powerful mysterious material energies sprayed out from the shoulders of the mysterious red-eyed Mecha, and the powerful recoil made it retreat hundreds of meters. On the other hand, the two material energies formed two energy hurricanes, with a huge attack range and a force that seemed to be able to destroy everything, rushing towards many Mechas. Swoosh! A huge sound of breaking through the air sounded. The next second, many Mechas were completely enveloped in the hurricane-like attack. Before they had time to react, they turned into dust and completely dissipated in time. The Mechas that took off were better, and the impact was not too big, but those Mechas that did not have time to take off almost disappeared. This process was extremely short. But the hurricane formed by the mysterious material energy did not dissipate, but rushed towards a certain direction of the End Kingdom at a very fast speed. The powerful material energy also caused a strong earthquake in the End Kingdom. Countless Hindu people were shaken so hard that their internal organs felt like they were hit by a hammer and were extremely uncomfortable. At the same time, the strong tremor almost destroyed all the buildings in the End Kingdom, turning them into endless dust, and the End Kingdom was shrouded in smoke and dust. 5 minutes later, the smoke and dust in the End Kingdom gradually dissipated. With the live broadcast, it can be watched again. Countless viewers around the world felt a chill on their backs, and they were so shocked that they couldn't come back to their senses for a long time. For a long time, people all over the world were unbelievable. How is this possible? Oh my god, I estimate that nearly millions of lives were killed in the End Kingdom with just this move. What kind of mecha is that? How can we fight this? With a big move, except for the Wangxi Empire mecha that escaped by chance, there are almost no Mechas left from other forces. The End Kingdom is really gone. Because the scene in the End Kingdom was shocking. As the satellite watched, no intact building could be found, and the End Kingdom was directly broken into two halves. It was the mysterious Mecha that blasted out a large canyon that penetrated the east and west directions of the End Kingdom. The seawater poured into the newly formed canyon. At this time, the drivers on the scene were the ones who felt the most pressure. They had the most intuitive feeling, the feeling of death, and they had just escaped by luck. But even so, many companions were still killed, and even their bodies were not found. Damn it, my guys agreed to go drinking together before they came. The eyes of the 5 pairs of Jianmeng drivers were unconsciously red. The Jianmeng Empire brought all its assets with it, and it was full of vigor and vitality before it came, but in the blink of an eye, there are only the last 5 remaining Mechas. They roared while pointing all their weapons at the 3 mysterious Mechas in the sky. Energy cannon fired. Chirp, chirp. But it was useless. Since the mysterious red-eyed Mecha in the sky could perform an attack that could cripple the End Kingdom, its performance must be extraordinary. The mysterious red-eyed mecha was much smaller than the dangerous wanderer, but the momentum it exuded was stronger than that of the dangerous wanderer, and even stronger than the sum of all the Mechas on the scene. Its purpose was to destroy all weapons on this planet that were threatening to monsters. Then, the attack of the Jianmeng Empire's dangerous wanderer attracted the attention of the red-eyed mecha. It showed super performance and was extremely fast. It almost turned into a touch of red and swept towards the ground. Come on. The drivers of the 5 dangerous wanderers were still roaring, without any intention of dodging. They frequently fired energy cannons at the red-eyed Mechas to avenge their dead companions. Chirp, chirp. The Wangzhen mecha tried to intercept the red-eyed mecha, and brilliant beams of light were fired from the particle beam gun. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The Alpha, Angel, and Terror Killer were also trying to intercept with firepower. However, the performance of the mysterious red-eyed mecha was beyond everyone's cognition. Its dodge not only avoided all attacks, but also took out a weapon similar to a particle beam gun from its back. With a guy. When it dived quickly, it hit an Alpha with one shot and destroyed it immediately. At this time, Yichuan and Dai turned the power of the mecha to the maximum, and turned into 2 streams of light from 2 directions to attack. Go to hell. Hey. Both of them looked solemn, and a pressure swept over them instantly. The mysterious red-eyed mecha was very strong and noticed the attacks of Yichuan and Dai in an instant. It did not stop diving to the ground, nor did it avoid the attacks of the 2. It slightly moved to the side to avoid the particle beam sword stabbed by Aya, and then kicked the mecha where Yichuan was. The 2 people represented the strongest combat power of the Wangzhe Empire, and the combined attack was resolved just like that. Damn. The exasperated Yichuan wanted to fight again. Aya also turned back and continued to launch a second attack. However, the joint attack of the 2 was soon resolved again, and Yichuan's mecha was pierced and had to jump out of the plane to escape, while Aya dodged in time and opened the particle barrier of the first time, which only caused damage to the left wing thruster. Soon, without the obstruction of Yichuan and Dai, the attacks of other Mechas did not cause any damage to the red-eyed mecha, so the red-eyed mecha dived to the ground. Boom! A series of explosions sounded. 4 dangerous wanderers exploded. The Mechas on the scene were not the opponents of the mysterious red-eyed mecha at all, and they were beaten by the opponent throughout the whole process. Even Yichuan and Dai's combined efforts were just 2 moves in front of the red-eyed mecha, not to mention that there were 2 mysterious Mechas in the sky that had not taken any action. As the battle continued, when the Mechas on the ground almost disappeared, the red-eyed mecha focused on those Wangzhen Mechas. Swoosh! The extremely strong power did not slow down at all. It was like a red killer, and it came to a Wangzhen mecha in the blink of an eye. The gun barrel directly pierced the cockpit. The killing continued. The Wangzhen Mechas that had never been defeated were like a group of lambs without any resistance. One after another, Wangzhen Mechas fell from the high school. What fell was not only the lives of the Mechas and the pilots, but also the painful hearts of countless people around the world. Why are all our Mechas so vulnerable? I'm crying with anger. It feels as unbelievable as a dream. If all our Mechas are gone, is it the end of our human race? I don't believe it. Everything is fake. This live broadcast must be a special effect that is playing a joke on everyone. At this moment, people all over the world felt a strong despair coming. How much they hoped that the Mechas of the Wangzhe Empire would create a myth again. Unfortunately, when facing the mysterious Mechas, the Mechas of the Wangzhe Empire also became vulnerable. Except for the 2 Mechas that barely held on for 2 moves before, the other Mechas were almost slaughtered. Chapter 238 Lin Chen's debut. At present, the dangerous wanderer is gone, the Alpha is gone, the Angel is gone, the Terror Killer is gone, and the number of Mechas in the Wangzhe Empire is also decreasing. People suddenly discovered that at this time, the Mechas in the End Kingdom are almost all the Mechas in the world. If the last Wangzhe mecha is gone, then where will the situation of mankind go? Thinking of the huge number of monsters and the super powerful attack of the mysterious mecha. The people all over the world are desperate and dare not continue to imagine it. At this time, the leaders of various countries in the world are also watching the live broadcast with a solemn expression. Song Rin said to himself with a crazy face, "Everything is gone, the Inner Kingdom is gone, and the whole world will be gone." And Pussy panicked. Yes, including him, everyone panicked. The damage displayed by the mysterious red-eyed mecha is far greater than a strategic-level nuclear bomb, and now the Mechas in the world seem to have become vulnerable. If the 3 mysterious Mechas are not killed, all humans in the world will be under its wanton attack and the baptism of endless monsters in the future. He was silent for a long time, and finally seemed to have made a major decision. Then he immediately contacted the Wangxi Empire, the Sun Never Set Alliance, and the Polar Empire. The 5 leaders represented the supreme leaders of the Azure Star and started talking again through video. Pussy's face was extremely serious. At this point, he had to let go of his past grudges. I propose to launch a strategic nuclear bomb. Jing Minjiwan said seriously. The nuclear dust after the explosion is harmful to humans. What if the monster mutates again? Or maybe the 3 mysterious Mechas can defend against the nuclear bomb. But there are still Mechas there, and there are still tens of millions of humans in the Enu kingdom. Others were also against Pussy's decision. Once the strategic nuclear bomb is released, let alone whether it will cause harm to the 3 mysterious Mechas and monsters in the Enu kingdom, anyway, the nuclear dust and radioactive substances after the nuclear bomb will immediately endanger the health of global life. Pussy shouted. I don't care, the nuclear bomb must be released. Either the Enu kingdom is finished, or the whole world is finished. The other 4 were silent. There are still countless Enu people and lucky surviving mecha pilots in the Enu country, but if they are not released, the huge number of monsters and 3 mysterious Mechas will be a catastrophe for mankind. In the end, several people no longer oppose Pussy's opinion. Because they have to consider the vast majority of mankind. So, a statement issued by top forces such as Jianming and Wangxin spread throughout the planet. For the sake of world peace, Jianming, Wangxin, Jidai, and the Never Set Sunday have held urgent consultations and finally had to announce with great sadness that 5 strategic nuclear bombs will be launched against the Enu country in half an hour. Sorry, we have no choice but to resort to this for the sake of the whole world. Please forgive us for our powerlessness. As soon as the news came out, it spread to all parts of the world in a very short time like a hurricane. What is the concept of 5 strategic nuclear bombs? It is enough to turn the entire Enu country into a death zone. Damn it, are you crazy? Damn it, there are still tens of thousands of lives in the Enu country, are they all going to die from nuclear bombs? Sinners, they were the ones who drafted the non-nuclear treaty, but now they are the first to release nuclear bombs. At this moment, countless people were cursing these 4 top forces. But as they cursed, the world became silent again. What else can they do if they don't release nuclear bombs? That red-eyed mecha smashed the Enu country into ruins with one move. You know, there are still 2 mysterious Mechas that have not been used from beginning to end, and there are tens of thousands of monsters. Are all the Mechas of each force destroyed by the other side, and humans are going to drive fighter jets to launch a meaningless suicide attack? So the 4 top forces not only did nothing wrong, but did it perfectly from the beginning, but the facts exceeded everyone's imagination. The whole world was quietly filled with an invisible and intangible atmosphere of despair. Here, at the base of the Wangxin Empire, the staff were collectively silent. All the previous efforts were gone, the Mechas were gone, and the pilots were about to be gone. Lin Chen and Jingshi were looking at each other outside the hangar. Do you really have a way? Jingshi pulled Lin Chen with a worried look on her face. She really didn't want to see Lin Chen do that stubborn thing. Don't worry, the test machine has been modified by me. Lin Chen's face was ugly. The pilots were all trained by him, and the mecha was also designed by him. So no one could be more sad than him, especially when the news of the death of one pilot after another came. Jingshi hugged Lin Chen with both hands and said, I don't understand how you modified the test machine, but I can see that the 3 mysterious Mechas want to catch all the Mechas in the world, so you must come back alive. I will. After saying this, Lin Chen took Jingshi's hands away and entered the code command in front of the hangar door. There was only one mecha in the second hangar, the test machine. Lin Chen jumped up in 2 or 3 steps, and suddenly a familiar feeling spread all over his body. Lin Chen didn't even ignite the mecha. The moment he sat on the mecha, the indicator started automatically. There is no need for too much control. Because this is a reward from the system. Lin Chen pressed a few times on the indicator and scanned to the location via in the Inu country. The test machine not only improved the performance in all aspects, but also added 2 special functions. And now Lin Chen is going to use the teleportation function. Start. This is a feeling of body extension, just like controlling your body naturally. Then a special teleportation space formed by super technology, Lin Chen drove the test machine into it, and then one person and one machine disappeared. Jingshi's mouth immediately turned into a nought shape. One person and one machine are gone. Here. The whole world fell into an atmosphere of despair. Countless Yindu people are desperately cursing the world, because the release of nuclear bombs did not consider the feelings of them. In the airspace battlefield of Yindu country, the number of pilots of Wang's empire has dropped sharply, and they are being hunted by mysterious Mechas. A Wang's pilot yelled unwillingly. Damn it, I'm so unwilling. As long as the 3 mysterious red-eyed Mechas can be destroyed, the previous nuclear bomb plan will be cancelled. Unfortunately, the number of Mechas in the Empire has dropped sharply, and they are being hunted by mysterious Mechas. Suddenly, just when the whole world was in despair, in the sky, a magic circle similar to ancient times appeared, and a series of mysterious symbols lit up. No one knew what this thing was. Soon, a more mysterious mecha slowly descended from the magic circle and appeared above the battlefield. It had a particle beam gun mounted on its back waist, and a particle light sword mounted on the right wing thruster. Lin Chen arrived in a test machine. It slowly descended from the teleportation space, with its back to the sun. Audiences around the world saw this newly appeared mecha through the live broadcast. Because it was facing the sun, it was a little difficult to see its face, but from its outline, it didn't look like a mecha from any country. It seemed that the shape of this mecha was also very cool and more imposing. Almost everyone had the same thought. What is that? All the countries sent their mechas without any reservation, so this mysterious mecha that appeared in a mysterious way was definitely not a mecha from any country. People were even more desperate. There were 3 mysterious mechas that were about to force the world to release strategic nuclear bombs, and now there was an even more mysterious mecha. Chapter 239. Fight between gods over the sky of the Inner Kingdom. Because of Lin Chen's mysterious appearance, he immediately attracted the attention of almost the whole world. He was suspended in the sky, and when the mysterious space teleportation array above his head disappeared, and when the sun gradually covered the test machine, its appearance was finally completely revealed to the eyes of people all over the world. The steel skeleton of the machine body was clear, full of industrial beauty. Under the sunlight, the machine body was dotted with golden light, which made it look more heroic and extraordinary, and even exuded an unmatched momentum. Cool and compelling. It was a blast. It was just a pity that no one cheered yet, because everyone didn't know where this more mysterious mecha came from, and what kind of attitude it had towards the blue star. Aya's face showed a more solemn look, and she said defensively, "Where is this guy's mecha?" Not only was she confused, many pilots from the Wang's Empire were very confused. No matter how you look at this newly appeared mysterious mecha, there is a sense of view of a test machine in the hangar, but it doesn't look like it. There are big differences in both size and body. At this moment, because of Lin Chen's appearance, the alien red-eyed mecha stopped killing the Wang's Empire, allowing many pilots to breathe. Because this alien red-eyed mecha did not have the data of this new mecha at all, and a creepy feeling came quietly. The other party was not friendly. Lin Chen sat in the test machine, feeling that he was not driving the test machine, and felt that the test machine was his body, and he could control various actions at will. The cold touch is really exciting and refreshing. This feeling is definitely something that shit can't give me. Lin Chen's face showed excitement, an excitement of finding an opponent. The legendary master is lonely, maybe he is the invincible swordsman who defeated all the enemies in the world. Searching the world for a defeat. Then the test machine stood up, with a particle beam sword in the left hand and a particle beam gun in the right hand, ready to fight at any time. Swoosh. The power of the experimental machine was fully turned on, rushing towards the red-eyed mecha. The speed was so fast that even the double wind thrusters formed 2 condensation clouds. Lin Chen has not yet turned on the external communicator, but he has made his attitude clear in front of the whole world with practical actions. He came to destroy the alien forces such as the red-eye mecha. The 2 guard mechas of the red-eye mecha were about to intercept, but were stopped by the red-eye mecha. This is a duel between the strong. Although the alien in the red-eye mecha felt a creepy crisis, it was also full of fighting spirit. It also took down its weapons and rushed towards the test machine with full power. Chirp chirp chirp, the red-eye mecha and the test machine started shooting at each other when they were still some distance away. After approaching, a thrilling battle was staged. At the extremely fast speed, they shot and fought swords at close range. The 2 mechas kept fighting in the sky. They almost became the protagonists of this world, attracting countless people to admire them. It can be said that this is a real fight between gods. At this time, all the audience couldn't help but stare wide-eyed. This battle is so exciting, it dazzles me. It's cruel, but it's a pity that none of the mechas belong to our human camp. This is a fight between gods. The pilots at the scene had a completely different visual impact from the audience. They felt the competition between masters more directly. From a distance, it was impossible to tell which of the two Mechas was which. The battle took place at an extremely fast speed, so fast that people could only see a rough outline, and the beams from the weapons were flying around. So awesome. Aya's eyes widened and she was shocked and incoherent. In short, she didn't think she could do such a battle, and even Lin Chen probably couldn't do it. Of course, she didn't know that the pilot in the mysterious Mecha was Lin Chen. The other pilots also had the same feeling as Aya. But in the eyes of Pussy and others, it was different. Seeing this scene, several leaders immediately suspended the nuclear bomb plan. At least from the current point of view, the Mechas of both sides are in hostile camps. It is not known whether the mysterious Mecha is a friend or foe, but the two sides have started fighting. Many people hope that the newly appeared mysterious Mecha can defeat the red-eyed Mecha that is in the same group with the monster. At least the mysterious Mecha has not shown any hostility to this world. At this time, Jiangxi's eyes moved away from the live broadcast. When she saw that Lin Chen had no accidents and had the upper hand, she breathed a sigh of relief and hurriedly asked Jiang Mingjian if he had cancelled the nuclear bomb plan. Otherwise, the nuclear bomb plan will come as scheduled, and everyone will regret it for the rest of their lives. It has been cancelled for the time being. That's good, Lin Chen will definitely destroy the alien Mechas and monsters. Jiangxi has a blind confidence in Lin Chen. If Lin Chen gave birth to a child one day, she would definitely believe it without a doubt. Jiang Mingjian was shocked. Lin Chen? Could it be that the mysterious Mecha was driven by Lin Chen? After some inquiries, Jiang Mingjian showed a relieved smile on his face. Although he still didn't understand why that mysterious Mecha was so different from the other Mechas in the Empire, and why it suddenly appeared. But he knew that the Blue Star won. He learned from Jiangxi that the mysterious Mecha was driven by Lin Chen, and he suddenly felt that there was nothing to be surprised about the alien Mechas and monsters. Then Jiang Mingjian immediately told the high-ranking officials of the Empire about the good news. Without exception, the expressions on their faces became wonderful. Surprised. It was so unexpected. The transition from astonishment to ecstasy took only a very short time. Yan Ming waved his hand and quickly issued a statement to the world. A turning point has appeared. Lin Chen of the Wang's Empire is currently fighting a war with the evil alien Mechas. As soon as the news was issued, the world was in an uproar. Is it true or not? Could it be that the Wang's Empire has delusional disorder? But Pussy and others were skeptical. There is no evidence. You said that the Mecha of your Wang's Empire is from the Wang's Empire. I also said that the Verdun Angel of the Jianmeng Empire was driving the mysterious Mecha. I just don't believe it. I would never admit it even if I was beaten to death. The Wang's Empire had expected this. Since it was Lin Chen who was driving, he must be wearing standard goggles. After an emergency contact in the air of the Hindu kingdom, Lin Chen, who was fighting with the red-eyed Mecha, heard a beep prompt sound in his ear. Lin Chen answered and asked, "Who?" The crew of the base cheered. "It's really Lin Chen." Lin Chen. The base asked. "Just now the Empire's high-level officials asked us to ask you if we can turn on the recording function of the goggles." After a while, the video from Lin Chen was transmitted back to the Wang's Empire, and then it was quickly broadcast to the whole country and the world by various departments. This is a live broadcast of the battle from the first perspective. It is a live broadcast from the perspective of Lin Chen's eyes. The live broadcast started, and countless people around the world showed incredible shock after comparing. The statement of the Wang's Empire was actually true, and the pilot of the mysterious Mecha was Lin Chen. Doesn't this mean that the mysterious Mecha fighting the alien Mecha belongs to the human camp? If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 240. This is a battle, not a karaoke party. After learning the truth, the whole world immediately cheered. Saved, saved. Lin Chen is a great man, and he will definitely be recorded in history books in the future. The whole world will remember him. No one will question why he developed this mysterious mecha, and no one will care, because his research will save the world. Ah, I like him, I want to marry him. I am conquered by his bravery, and I want to experience being ridden by him. Everyone was excited. Awesome. The more you look at the mysterious mecha driven by Lin Chen, the more handsome it is. Especially when you think back to the moment when Lin Chen appeared, it is clearly the visual sense of the savior. Even in the future, as long as Lin Chen hooks his finger, countless socialites and ladies will want to rush to agree to all his rude requests and devilish tricks. Have fun with the hero who saves the world. This is a great honor. It's so exciting. And Pussy looked depressed. Thank the Wang's Empire for saving the world. Thank you for nothing. And that damned Lin Chen, with such talent and handsomeness second only to himself, could definitely come to Jianmeng Empire to develop. As long as he can come to Jianmeng Empire, he can be given everything: reputation, status, money, beauty. Isn't his own daughter Princess Aika attractive? Pussy suddenly had an idea and thought of a brilliant idea. Find an opportunity to force Lin Chen to take medicine, so that he loses his mind and becomes a beast that only knows how to mate, so that he can do something to Aika naturally, and the rice is cooked. Great, this idea is really great. Pussy is not the only one who has the same idea. When Wang's Empire produced the ironclad evidence, the faces of many bigwigs were particularly ugly. It is Lin Chen who saves the world. Especially Lin Chen's identity as the fiancé of the eldest princess of Wang's Empire. Everyone has a feeling of being forced to take shit, not to mention how uncomfortable and collapsed they are mentally and physically. At this time, the battlefield above the Indo Kingdom. Lin Chen is fighting fiercely with the red-eyed mecha of aliens. Suddenly, the voice of the driver came to her ears. I asked excitedly, "Professor, is it really you?" Unexpectedly, she never thought that the mecha that appeared before would actually belong to Lin Chen, and she never thought that Lin Chen's strength was unfathomable. Thinking of that extremely fast hand speed, I could hardly imagine how powerful and fast Lin Chen's hand speed was. It was already difficult to describe it as very powerful. It can only be described as dazzling. It's me. Although it was just 2 words, it inspired the remaining drivers and regained their fighting spirit. Because Lin Chen was their backbone and a strong backing. Many drivers' excited voices came. "Professor, we're here to help you." Suddenly, the Wangzhen chase that had fled in all directions and dared not approach began to show signs of flying over here. They wanted to follow Lin Chen's footsteps to eliminate the aliens and save the world. Lin Chen opened his mouth and attacked mercilessly. "Go away, you will only get in the way." Because he had already mastered a lot of offensive initiative. If other drivers came, they would not only disrupt the rhythm of their own attack, but also divide some of their energy to protect them. All the pilots. They pulled up the mecha angrily and moved away from the battlefield again. Lin Chen glanced at the mecha that was moving away and began to focus on the battle. The mecha's mobility was fully deployed and rushed towards the red-eyed mecha. The latter pulled away and held a weapon similar to a laser gun and fired a purple ray attack. Such an attack was very powerful. The purple ray was like a water dragon with powerful destructive power, quickly attacking Lin Chen. Here the beam attack was dazzling. Lin Chen's attack was not blocked at all. He went up along the ray. The power never slowed down. The thrusters of the 2 wings always maintained the maximum output power. It's getting closer. This is a wonderful battle. This is a fight between gods. All the attacks happened in a matter of seconds. Lin Chen swung out the beam sword, trying to split the opponent in half with one sword, and the opponent was still able to fight Lin Chen even when he was at a disadvantage, so naturally he would not be hit by one blow. It also intercepted with a sword. The 2 beam swords collided with each other, but neither cut off the other's beam sword, which was enough to show the strength of the other's technology. A crisp sound came out, and neither of them could do anything to the other. However, Lin Chen pulled away and kicked the red-eye mech in the abdomen, kicking it away. The red-eye mech flew backwards for hundreds of meters before it stabilized its body under the recoil of the thrusters. It seemed that it also felt that Lin Chen's strength was not something that could be easily eliminated, so it changed its fighting style. The red-eye mech naturally inserted the beam sword under the thrusters, and mounted the beam gun on the back waist, and then stopped attacking. This scene was broadcast live to the world, and also broadcast live from Lin Chen's first-person perspective, making the global audience couldn't help but hold their breath. It seemed that the alien red-eye mech was going to use the big move like 2 hurricanes again. Then, bursts of Buddhist chanting were heard from the inside of the red-eye mech, and the sound was very loud, as if it relied on this sound to lock the target. In a very short time, the whole world was filled with a harsh noise. The big move is activated. Yes, if it is louder than the voice, it seems that it really restrains Lin Chen. Immediately afterwards, the body of the red-eyed mecha began to glow red, as if some powerful force was flowing. This scene was reflected in the eyes of people all over the world, and countless people panicked. Is it going to be amplified? Stop it quickly. Damn, it's cheating. What kind of ability is it to use the big move when you can't beat it? We can't let it sing anymore. Damn, it's worse than the howling of ghosts and wolves. The attack of the red-eyed mecha will be devastating. Think of a way quickly. People are condemning the red-eyed mecha with righteous words. It's as if because the other party is an enemy, no matter what they do, it's wrong. On the other hand, Lin Chen's test machine, no matter what kind of attack that breaks the sky, can also be boasted as unparalleled in the world. At the same time, the Wang's Empire sent a warning to Lin Chen. A large amount of supernatural matter is found to be gathering. Because they are now allies of mankind on the same front, the Jianmeng Empire, the Polar Empire, and the Sun Never Sets Alliance also directly bypassed the Wang's Empire's communication rights and sent warnings. Because Lin Chen now concerns the fate of whether Azure Star will release a strategic nuclear bomb. Mr. Lin Chen, please come back safely. The Inu people put their hands together and prayed devoutly. If he hadn't appeared in time, the Inu country would have been gone, and all the Inu people would have gone to see Amaterasu in the nuclear explosion. Lin Chen. Of course, this speechless is not a warning to all countries, but the red-eyed mecha on the opposite side made him speechless. Please, this is a battle, not asking you to come to the scene to compete with me in karaoke. Lin Chen would naturally not be stupid enough to let the other party complete the energy storage of the big move. The shocking scene on the ground under his feet was all caused by the other party's move. So of course he had to interrupt the other party's big move with one shot. Converge the space-time cannon and prepare. Suddenly, the white fuselage of the test machine was covered with a layer of golden light and finally turned into a golden mecha, which looked more heroic and mysterious. The shoulders of the test machine also unfolded, which was almost similar to the attack of the red-eyed mecha on the opposite side. But it is obvious that Lin Chen's convergent time and space cannon is more advanced. Unlike the opponent, he doesn't need to sing a folk song to use a big move. Such a big move is simply out of this world. Chapter 241 Anyone who doesn't look like a human is evil. The test machine stored energy much faster, and the white fuselage turned into golden light, like a golden armored war god descending from the earth, suspended in the air, calmly staring at the enemy opposite. At this moment, the faces of the audience around the world were filled with disbelief. Look, Lin Chen's mecha has also changed color. Fuck, is it also a big move? Could it be that the Battle of Mechas is also like shitting, and needs to be brewed first? Everyone in the world was shocked. It's okay that the aliens' Mechas can change color, but why did Lin Chen's mecha also change color to prepare for a big move? Is he going to sing a song and turn a good fight between gods into a live folk song duet? That's too ridiculous. It's very embarrassing. The leaders of various countries were surprised and said, what is that? And the pilots in the air battlefield of the Inu country had their mouths turned into naught shape. Is this going to be a big move? In fact, of course, it was not a big move. Lin Chen just wanted to take advantage of the opponent's chanting to release the big move in advance and attack the opponent. I will be criticized for writing about singing, please forgive me. Lin Chen's convergent space-time cannon was about to finish storing energy, and even the indicator turned into countless flowing mysterious numbers. During this period, the three alien Mechas also discovered Lin Chen's intention in advance. The red-eyed mecha was storing energy for the big move, but it still had two guard Mechas. After a brief contact, the guard mecha immediately turned into two streams of light and rushed towards Lin Chen, trying to interrupt the opponent's energy storage attack. But Lin Chen was able to beat the red-eyed mecha throughout the whole process, let alone the two guard Mechas. Bang! As soon as a guard mecha rushed over, Lin Chen's test machine had to stop storing energy and kicked one away at a faster speed, forcing another to retreat. The short time gave the red-eyed mecha the most critical moment, and there was a sign that it was ready to launch a big move at any time. Lin Chen said in a deep voice, "Take my move of convergent space-time cannon, fire." The shoulders of the test machine burst into green light, which seemed to be the power of energy, and there were also arcs flashing. Then the shoulders began to exert their power and ejected two convergent space-time cannons. The power of convergent space-time is very great, with unknown power. It is a storm of two spaces, and these two storms are accompanied by arcs. In the middle is a supernatural power. There is no rule. The purple supernatural material converges into a ray. Suddenly, the eye of the storm of these two storms gushed towards the red-eyed mecha. The red-eyed mecha on the opposite side also completed the energy storage in the time the guard mecha bought, and immediately ejected two storms of completely different colors from its shoulders. The big moves of both sides, the storms formed by the convergence of supernatural substances hit together. This is a real bombardment. The power of the big moves of both sides is extraordinary. In the center of the storm bombardment, a large light ball emitting bright light burst out, and various colorful energy substances burst out and escaped. It seemed that the whole world was eclipsed by it. At this time, both Lin Chen and the red-eyed mecha were still firing their own big moves, just like two people shooting water guns at each other. Only the one with greater power could suppress the other's attack. This was the final decisive battle, and the outcome depended on this bombardment. This scene was broadcast live to the world, especially the one unfolded from the perspective of Lin Chen in the Wang's Empire, which almost made countless people's hearts clenched in their throats. It was as if it was not Lin Chen who was fighting against the alien red-eyed mecha, but them, and they directly put themselves in the shoes of the pilot of the test machine. Come on. Don't lose. As long as we can win, let's develop a beautiful world together. The mood of the global audience was still tense. In addition to devout prayers, they had no other way to help. After all, even the Mechas of the Wang's Empire could not help, let alone the civilians like them. Even the leaders of various countries were clenching their fists tightly, silently saying in their hearts, "Come on." Because now Lin Chen of the Wang's Empire is fighting for all mankind. At this time, the situation in the air battlefield of the End Kingdom gradually became clear. The test machine and the red-eyed mecha continued to output energy to the center of the attack of both sides. However, Lin Chen's convergent space-time cannon was faintly more powerful, and began to suppress the opponent's attack. The continuous convergent space-time cannon was approaching the red-eyed mecha. Suddenly, the two guard Mechas were very anxious, because the red-eyed mecha had reached the end of its strength. So the three Mechas were ready to work together to withstand a wave of attacks from the natives of this planet. The red-eyed mecha retracted its big move, and immediately supported a circular fish bubble energy shield with the two guard Mechas like the plot of a fantasy novel. Even the mouths of countless monsters hovering in the sky had a firing reaction, ready to launch a series of energy storms to slow down the attack power of the convergent space-time cannon. Immediately afterwards, the space-time convergence cannon arrived as promised with thousands of violent forces. Countless monsters' bloody mouths sprayed countless energy storms to hit the convergent space-time cannon. However, the power of the convergent space-time cannon would not be frustrated by this attack. After all, it could firmly suppress the ultimate move of the red-eyed mecha, and its power was naturally self-evident. Therefore, the huge impact of the convergent space-time cannon hit the energy shields of the three mysterious alien Mechas in a very short time. Boom boom, even the sky felt like an earthquake, and a dazzling light burst out. The convergent space-time cannon covered the energy shields supported by the three alien Mechas, constantly washing away the opponent's energy. The sky was once again filled with a dazzling light that lasted for a long time, which made countless people close their eyes. No one knew what the battle in the sky was like, but they knew that they were extremely anxious. After a long time, the dazzling light in the sky gradually dissipated. The eyes of the audience around the world were also restored to clarity, and then they almost had to watch the live broadcast on TV. As soon as they saw it, countless people cried with joy. "Woohoo, I see victory is just around the corner. Fuck, what happened just now? Why did those three alien Mechas start to smoke and look shaky when I didn't look for a while? Yeah, it looks like we're going to win. I'm not talented, I really want to be written by Lin Chen." At this moment, almost everyone on the Azure Star breathed a sigh of relief. Because the three alien Mechas in sight were all emitting puffs of green smoke, as if they could explode at any time. All of this was done by Lin Chen. Fortunately, this crisis seems to be over safely. Otherwise, if the nuclear bomb is released in a way that kills 1,000 enemies and injures 800 of itself, all mankind will have to live in a negative environment after the nuclear explosion. The evil alien newcomer has appeared. Immediately afterwards, countless people subconsciously held their breath from the cheers. Because the alien red-eyed mecha opened the cockpit and revealed the true face of the alien. This is definitely a big event. They saw the true face of the evil alien. Regarding aliens, in the general concept of human beings, only humans are the center of the entire universe, and all alien creatures that form civilizations will be labeled as evil as long as they do not look like humans. This is the consensus of all human beings, regardless of gender, age or status. Even Lin Chen has this idea that those who are not of my race must have different hearts. Chapter 242. Humans, you have no moral principles. The cockpit of the red-eyed mecha opened, revealing the true face of the alien. As humans generally agree, such evil aliens do not deserve to have human appearances. The alien has a cat's mouth and nose, and its head is round and triangular. This alien is very different from humans. Human, you in. The revealed alien opened his mouth and smiled at the test machine. Although the voice was not loud, it reached Lin Chen's ears. There was no regret in the voice, and it was even a little free and easy and confident. Lin Chen also opened the cockpit of the test machine, stood up and asked in surprise, "Can you speak our language?" The alien smiled and said, "When technology develops to a certain level, language will not be an obstacle. I am very curious about how the technology of your planet is crooked. Other technologies are very low, but the technology in weapons is very strong. It can actually beat the biological beasts enslaved by the alien alliance." Lin Chen's face was stunned for a moment. The monster is a creature enslaved by the other force. No wonder some command data was obtained from the decomposition of the monster's corpse. Then, he asked, "What is your power?" The two people stood in the cockpit, talking calmly across the air. They were not like the enemies who had fought each other and wanted to kill each other. Instead, they were like good friends who had not seen each other for many years, and they were puzzled when they asked each other. "Alliance, Admiral Sarah of the Guards." The alien revealed his identity, power, etc., including his name, Sarah. Lin Chen nodded. No wonder the other party's mecha was so strong. The alien alliance mentioned by the other party must be a very powerful force, otherwise the mecha driven by the Admiral of the Guards would never have the strength to compete with the test machine. "Okay, then you can die." After finding out the doubts in his heart, Lin Chen revealed his true face, and his handsome face showed a look of hatred. He bent down and took out a machine gun from the cockpit and started to shoot at the other side. At the same time, the test machine under his control was also shooting at the other side with a particle beam gun. The pilots who had been paying close attention to the battlefield not far away responded to Lin Chen's attack at the first time, and set up particle beam guns to attack the mecha where Sarah of the Alien Alliance was. Take advantage of its illness to kill it. Chirp chirp, the countless particle beam guns in the sky continued to attack all mankind. Admiral Sarah's previous words revealed confidence because the mecha was only seriously damaged and could still be driven. As long as he entered the channel connecting the two worlds, he would be safe. So he firmly believed that the other party could not do anything to him. But he never thought that he was just talking to a cross-species friend the previous second, and the other party took advantage of his unpreparedness to pay and kill him the next second. Damn, the human species is really very similar in some aspects. There is also the human species in the distant Milky Way, and the Andromeda Galaxy is obviously more than 2 million light-years away from the Milky Way, but it is surprisingly cunning and scheming. Sarah was shot in the abdomen and hurried back to the cockpit of the red-eyed mecha. A voice came out. "Human, you have no martial ethics, you will be punished." Then she said a few harsh words and hurriedly fled with 2 guard Mechas. This world is too dangerous and full of dangers. The 3 Mechas can no longer fight, especially Lin Chen, who was hit by Lin Chen's big move and was severely damaged. So in a very short time, the 3 severely damaged Mechas of the Alien Alliance turned into streams of light across the sky and escaped a long distance. Lin Chen also hurriedly returned to the cockpit, turned on the communication, and said, "All the Mechas that can still fight, chase them, don't let them run away." As soon as he finished speaking, whoosh whoosh whoosh, one mecha after another hurriedly followed Lin Chen's mecha to chase the 3 Mechas of the Alien Alliance. Even the only remaining dangerous wanderer of the Jianmeng Empire quickly flew up, intending to avenge his dead companions. However, they were soon blocked by endless monsters. Lin Chen said again, "You guys chase them in other directions, I'll deal with these monsters, make sure to kill those 3 aliens." The mecha group did not hesitate. They abandoned the monsters one after another, bypassed this area and chased in the direction where the monsters fled. The pilots were confident that they could kill the 3 aliens to gain this unprecedented achievement. Because the 3 alien Mechas were just broken copper and iron that were seriously injured and could no longer fight. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. When the Mechas quickly moved away, the monsters did not chase them anymore, but kept roaring at Lin Chen. If you listen carefully, you can even hear the fear in the monsters' roars, which comes from the fear of monsters. Lin Chen did not waste too much time. The big move is activated. The fuselage of several test machines once again turned from white to golden light, like a god descending from heaven. Convergent space-time cannons are ready. 2 convergent space-time cannons were fired from the shoulders, with the power that seemed to be able to destroy everything, and blasted towards the tensely packed monsters. Under the strafing, the monsters that humans had once been unable to deal with became extremely fragile. One by one, the monsters comparable to mountains were silently turned into endless powder under the endless storm of time and space and completely dissipated in the world. After a while, after destroying the monsters, Lin Chen activated the space teleportation function in the extreme shock of the audience around the world, and the next second he appeared from the sky above the End Kingdom to somewhere above the Pacific Ocean. This horrifying way of appearing immediately made many Wang Xinche's present attack at the first time. "It's me," Lin Chen said. The pilots of the Wangxi Empire let down their guard. Lin Chen still didn't understand what happened here. Looking around, the weather here was very clear, the Pacific Ocean under his feet was blue, and the waves were surging. It was just a group of Wang Xinche's floating here for some reason. Lin Chen asked, "Where are the aliens?" The 3 aliens drove the Mecha into the sea from here, and the dangerous wanderers of the Jianmeng Empire went down to chase them. "I guess the aliens want to escape back to their world," a driver said helplessly. "They couldn't go down. The dangerous wanderer could. After all, the design concept of the Mecha is different. The Mecha of the Wangxi Empire gives the driver a higher space to display, but this will lose some functions, such as the inability to dive." Lin Chen and others waited on the sea for a while. After waiting for a long time, a huge shadow appeared on the seabed. Everyone was ready to attack again. Once the situation was wrong, they would immediately beat the shadow into a sieve. However, everyone was relieved immediately. It turned out that the one who came up was the dangerous wanderer of the Jianmeng Empire. Lin Chen turned on the communication and asked, "How is it? Where are the aliens?" The dangerous wanderer said, "Ah, it's Lin Chen, you came so quickly, they ran away." "Run away?" Everyone's face immediately became gloomy. For a while, the mechanical arms of many Mechas quietly took out the particle beam guns from their waists. A pair of driver brothers in the dangerous wanderer were startled. "How could these lovely comrades take out guns for no reason?" He hurriedly explained. "We were about to catch up with the other party on the seabed, but the other party jumped into a mysterious glowing seabed surface and disappeared. When we rushed over, there was nothing on the surface except some monster footprints, as if the aliens had never appeared. Really, we have a video of the seabed, which has been sent to the headquarters of various empires." Lin Chen contacted the empire doubtfully and finally confirmed that the other party was not lying. The glowing seabed surface they mentioned should be the channel connecting the 2 worlds, but why did the channel disappear when they rushed over? Could it be that the other party forcibly closed the channel between the 2 worlds in a hurry? It's really hard to figure it out. At this time, Lin Chen's mind suddenly received a system prompt. With a beep, Lin Chen hurriedly opened the system panel in his mind. Host. Lin Chen Mission 1. Prevent the monster invasion and smash the alien conspiracy. Mission completed. Please collect the reward. Chapter 243. Reward. A chance to experience transmigration. Go back. The war is over. Lin Chen was a little absent-minded. The war was over, as if there was no meaning for him to exist. Other drivers at the scene were stunned. Lin Chen opened all the communications and said, "The alien Mechas have escaped, and the passage between the 2 underwater worlds has been closed. Everyone, go back." The Mechas did not hesitate at all, and under the control of the drivers, they returned to the Inner Kingdom. Swoosh, 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 the Mechas turned into a stream of light across the sky. Where did that Mecha come from? A driver looked at the test machine in the front. "Oh, it's finally over. I want to take a long vacation. I'm tired and want to go home," another driver said with a complicated expression. After saying this, everyone stopped talking and became unusually silent. Because too many people died. More than 500 drivers, not counting the injured, almost half of them were killed, and most of their bodies turned into powder. The cruelty of the battle was beyond imagination. The Jianmeng Empire was relatively lucky. There was only one remaining dangerous wanderer out of more than 100. The Mechas of the Polar Empire and the Sun Tribal Alliance were completely slaughtered. Meanwhile, the top powers were analyzing the images sent back by the dangerous wanderers. They finally came to the conclusion that after the channel connecting the 2 worlds was closed, it would never be opened again. In other words, the world was at peace, and future humans would be completely free from the disaster of monsters. So the Jianmeng Empire, the Wangxi Empire, and others successively proved this fact, and immediately spread the good news to the world. The channel connecting the other world was closed by aliens, and the world was at peace. This news quickly swept the world like a hurricane, setting off an unprecedented huge wave. Immediately afterwards, countless people around the world breathed quickly, and their faces flushed with excitement. We won. Ha ha, the disaster of monsters is finally gone. Ugh, why do I feel a little dizzy? The cheers from all over the world continued for a long time, but soon, some people felt a sense of dizziness and were a little unstable. It was like being infected with an unknown virus, and this kind of dizziness continued to spread and radiate to countless people around the world. Gradually, the people who cheered before the world all showed pain on their faces, and some even lay on the ground and vomited. Because many people watched the live broadcast from the first-person perspective, they put themselves into Lin Chen's shoes. You know, how can ordinary people adapt to Lin Chen's battle? So many people didn't feel anything before, but when the body just relaxed now, they felt dizzy and their stomachs were also churning. Damn, Wang's Empire actually showed us this. Countless people cursed excitedly. Here, Pussy lit a cigarette faintly, with a sense of self-mockery, and said, "So that's it, in the end, it still depends on Wang's Empire. Why didn't Lin Chen come to Jianmeng Empire? Isn't his daughter Princess Ika fragrant? The more I think about it, the angrier I am. It seems that I have to make another wave of Wang's Empire. The world won. Countless people have not forgotten the heroes who died in that battle. Their names are remembered by the world. Even the countries tacitly erected a monument to the hero. After all the morning activities, it was the day for the whole world to celebrate. On this day of worldwide celebration, Pussy held a press conference. Now that the world is at peace, of course we have to show our strength to make the people prouder. Anyway, it won't go wrong. Countless reporters at the press conference had relaxed smiles on their faces, and the atmosphere was very lively. At the beginning, Pussy was able to hold his own in front of thousands of reporters. He spoke eloquently when he got on stage. It is well known that we humans share a common destiny. When faced with the crisis from aliens, countries put aside their previous grievances and work together to save the world. Both the Wang's Empire and the Polar Empire performed very well in this battle and are our closest comrades in arms. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Many reporters were a little overwhelmed. What is the purpose of this press conference? Pussy's expression became serious, and he said in a deep voice, "Although I am very grateful that they saved the world with us, one thing is one thing. Recently, the mobile phones of the Wang's Empire are suspected of monopolizing the market, so the Jianmeng Empire has decided to prohibit the Wang's Empire from continuing to sell mobile phones, and all other items will be subject to tariffs." A lot of boasting. Although Pussy boasted that the Wang's Empire was an ally, when the world crisis came, he could turn his back to his comrades. But when the world was peaceful, the Jianmeng Empire immediately united many forces to impose sanctions on the Wang's Empire. The whole world. When the disaster came, everyone united as one, and after the disaster, everyone fought openly and secretly. And this scene, through the live broadcast, greatly inspired countless Jianmeng people. Confidence is back. That's right. The Jianmeng Empire is the global hegemon. Whoever it is not happy with will be dealt with, and whoever it is dissatisfied with will be beaten. What's the matter with allies? Anyway, the world is peaceful, so our great Jianmeng Empire does not need it, and never needs it. It seemed that the countries of the world had returned to the days when there were no monsters. The grievances between the countries were picked up again, and they began to fight openly and secretly. However, Lin Chen did not participate in those open and secret fights. On the one hand, he had to participate in the establishment of the Mars Outpost Observation Station, and on the other hand, he had to personally visit the families of the pilots who died in the battle. Today, he visited the last one. When he came out of a small restaurant, two women, one old and one young, with red and swollen eyes, came to see him off. Lin Chen was also helpless. Because this is the cruelty of war. In war, someone always needs to stand up to protect the civilians behind him. In other words, after many visits, the psychological state has been somewhat adapted to this situation. Leaders, please go slowly. The voices of the two women were a little hoarse. Liu Die is a very popular name. But his deeds are not popular. In the two decisive battles with the monsters this time, his record as a rookie was quite dazzling, even catching up with Yi Chuan, but it was a pity that he was eventually annihilated by Sarah's big move. At the same time, he was also the only male in this single-parent family. After his death, only his mother and sister were left. Lin Chen nodded, and before leaving, he did not forget to say, If there is anything that needs to be solved in the future, please call me. Liu Di is a hero, and his family has the right to enjoy special treatment. Then he hurriedly left in disgrace. I really can't bear to stay here any longer, because crying makes people feel very sad. And this trip, Lin Chen finally completed the most urgent and important task, condolences to the families of the fallen pilots, which is even more important than the system reward. The next day, after Lin Chen took a plane back to the base, he impatiently returned to the bedroom and locked himself in the room. Open the system panel. Host. Lin Chen Mission 1. Stop the monster invasion and crush the alien conspiracy. The mission has been completed, please receive the reward. Click the receive without hesitation. Ding, the reward has been received, a 24-hour opportunity to travel through 1,000 years later. The cold voice of the system came. Lin Chen was speechless. It would be fine if it was some kind of technology, but a chance to experience 24-hour travel. A strange light door appeared in the room, which was very magical. The blue light kept rotating in it, and it seemed that people would sink into it at a glance. Suddenly, a very strong suction force appeared, and the closed door seemed to have a constant suction force and began to pull Lin Chen. Fuck, what is this? I didn't say I wanted to go in. Lin Chen desperately pulled the bed. But it was useless. Lin Chen's body and the bed were pulled by the strong suction force to move the light door, and finally entered the light door and disappeared. Because this is a reward from the system, you must experience it after receiving it. This is like making an appointment for sex, and when you arrive at the hotel, you are horrified by the other party's fairy posture. Even if you don't want to do it in your heart, you can't just leave without sex. You must finish it with tears in your eyes. Chapter 244. Thousands of years later, the human race has been wiped out. After traveling through time and space for 1,000 years, Lin Chen fell into a coma. He didn't know how long he had been in a coma. Under the illumination of the eyes, he woke up faintly and groaned. Have I come to the world 1,000 years later? Lin Chen glanced at the system panel. The countdown to the time of travel was 23:59. After this time, he would return to 1,000 years ago. Then he got up from the ground and looked around blankly, only to find that this place was no longer the base. And his eyes couldn't help but widen, shocked by the surrounding environment. In the sight, there are still tall buildings here, but without exception, almost most of the buildings look rusty, and dense green vines cover the buildings. Scrapped cars can be seen everywhere on the street, but there is no one in sight. It is obvious that no one has lived in this city for a long time, or there has been no sign of human activity for a long time. Lin Chen's eyes widened, and he said in disbelief, "Is this the world 1,000 years later? But which world should this be?" For Lin Chen, it might be a good thing to have the opportunity to travel to 1,000 years later. Maybe he can learn about the detailed information about the Azure Star, about himself, and major historical events. However, after searching for a while, he still couldn't find anyone. "Hello, is anyone there?" Lin Chen's voice kept echoing throughout the city. He even noticed that the drinks in the beverage machine on the roadside had already dried up. Test machine. Lin Chen tried to contact the test machine. Here the test machine has traveled through time. Lin Chen was very surprised. Maybe other things can't travel through time, but the test machine can, because it is an extension of his body, it is a special mecha, and it is not strange to travel through time because of this. Turning on the indicator of the test machine, it was found that there was no on all electronic frequencies, and even the radar could not work. There was a living reaction in a radius of 10 kilometers, but there were some unknown small animals that posed no threat to Lin Chen. This place is really the world 1,000 years later. What happened? Lin Chen was very unbelievable. The test machine flew into the sky. At a glance, the whole city was in sight, and as expected, I was shocked again. Almost all the buildings in this city were wrapped in green vines, and even occasionally human bones could be seen on the streets. After a long time, Lin Chen's eyes changed a little. An ancient city wall appeared, with the word Shanghai City written on it. Deep in his memory, it seemed that there was a Shanghai City in Tianxing country. As a last resort, Lin Chen returned to the ground and looked for clues again, and said to himself in doubt, "Is this Kepler planet?" The signal of the test machine has been in the external mode. In the afternoon, Lin Chen found nothing. The only conclusion he came to was that this planet was suspected to be Kepler planet, and it was suspected to have been attacked by an unknown attack. After a long time, a strange voice came from the depths of the city. "This is the Shanghai City Defense Agency. Are there any survivors? The 9th shelter in Shanghai City is still available and can accommodate all the victims. Survivors, please go to the city park. Lin Chen immediately jumped into the test machine to be on guard. A small robot without any aggression appeared, following the signal from the test machine. Survivors. Lin Chen hesitated for a moment, and finally decided to follow this robot to take a look. After a while, they arrived at a park in the city that looked like a ruin. As soon as Lin Chen jumped off the test machine, a pool in the middle of the park emitted a ray of light that shone on Lin Chen. Confirm that the living human race is successful, open the shelter. A mechanical voice suddenly sounded, and then the pool cracked. A high-tech staircase appeared. Lin Chen took a rifle from the test machine and walked down the stairs defensively, while controlling the test machine to prepare for the response. At this time, the lights in the shelter lit up, repeating, "Welcome to the 9th shelter in Shanghai. The Shanghai Defense Agency welcomes you. The official standard construction is full of technology and does not look like a dangerous place." Walking forward, with a squeak, a heavy metal gate slowly rose and opened. When he officially entered the shelter, Lin Chen saw a pink little girl created by technology and virtualized by light, with a smile on her face. This shelter has 2.1% of space vacant. Please choose your favorite area and live a comfortable life here. After speaking, squeak, squeak, another heavy metal door opened in the shelter. Lin Chen walked over to take a look at the thing closed by the metal door. He almost vomited after just one glance. The ground was full of dried corpses. Judging from the characteristics of the corpses, there were men, women, and children. What's going on? Lin Chen was shocked and hurried back to the center of the shelter and said, "Hey, what's going on?" He was calling the little girl, and as expected, she was the smart housekeeper of the shelter. A pink light appeared, and the little girl in pink appeared, still smiling. "Hello, I'm the shelter's artificial intelligence Xiaojiu, please ask a question." Lin Chen asked, "Is this the planet Kepler?" Confirmed human race, question accepted, entering the answering process. "Yes, this is the 9th shelter in Huqiang, Tianxing country, Kepler planet." Lin Chen was shocked again, and vaguely realized that this was definitely a major event, and asked hurriedly, "Why is there no living person? What happened?" The lights in the shelter dimmed, and when they lit up again, they had turned into a 3D audiovisual mode, as if one was in another world. The scene was comparable to a visually impactful war movie. Magnificent laser weapons struck the ground from the sky, turning countless buildings into ruins. The scene was like a purgatory on Earth. The next scene showed the planet Kepler with countless tanks, planes, Mechas, space battleships, and all kinds of combat weapons. Lin Chen asked, "Is this a war?" This is the actual recorded image. The shelter's artificial intelligence Xiaojiu appeared. The scene continued. Lin Chen saw countless Mechas and space battleships appearing from the sky, and even some giant bugs comparable to space battleships. They launched an attack on the city below, and the various combat weapons that Kepler had assembled long ago also quickly counterattacked. The two sides exchanged fire, but it was obvious that from the quantity and quality of weapons, Kepler's strength was not as good as the other side. Artificial intelligence Xiaojiu said again. Due to the large-scale cosmic war between the Alien Alliance and the Zerg, and the outbreak of wars dubbed the Terran Clear Plan and the Terran Twilight, the human race eventually suffered an extinction blow. In order to continue the human race's fire, Kepler established a shelter to prevent the extinction of the last human race in the universe, but due to the consumption of food and other things, the humans in the shelter entered a state of death one after another. As a result, it lasted until the end of the war, and the last humans in the shelter all died. Hearing the other party's answers, Lin Chen's eyes had changed from disbelief to deep horror. So the world was destroyed. He didn't believe it. Why was it humans who had changed the human race? Lin Chen asked. Why didn't I appear? Why didn't there be the Wangxi Empire? Why didn't the Blue Star appear? According to the usual behavior of human beings, there are all kinds of open and secret struggles in peacetime, but in the face of justice, even mortal enemies will put aside their grievances and unite against the outside world. Because humans are always human. Due to the start of the cosmic war, the human races on various planets are united. Then can the people at the Blue Star help? Kepler is the last planet of all human beings. There are a large number of Blue Star corpses in the living area of Shelter No. 71. The answers are finished. Do you have any other questions? The artificial intelligence Xiaojiu still had a smile on his face. In fact, it was true. It was an artificial intelligence, only a string of high-level data, and would not have any emotions. Lin Chen's face was dull, and he seemed to have a bad premonition from the other party's answer. There were corpses from the Blue Star in the shelter, and the last humans were all dead. Why? Why were humans completely wiped out 1,000 years later? Lin Chen asked, when did this happen? Artificial Intelligence Xiaojiu said, 538 years ago, at 9:27 on the 137th day of 538 years, the last human died. When Lin Chen came out of shelter No. 9, he lowered his head and was extremely silent, with the voice of Artificial Intelligence Xiaojiu still echoing in his ears. There are no human life responses in 138,200 shelters around the world. Now you are the only human living in the universe. Lin Chen never thought that this time travel opportunity rewarded by the system would allow him to gain insight into future crises. He also never thought that all this was fake. Because there was no need to do that. The bones on the city streets, the dried corpses in the shelter, and the existence of the alien alliance were also confirmed by Sarah in the red-eyed Mecha. The sun was setting. Lin Chen glanced at the countdown, and there were only a few hours left before he would end this time travel journey. He immediately jumped onto the test machine and headed towards the direction of Xiangling City 1,000 years later. Because the archives in the Xiangling City refuge had everything he wanted, there were major historical events, including not only the origin of the Cosmic War, but also the major wars and the distribution of cosmic forces. Chapter 245 End of the experience of crossing Xiangling City, 1,000 years later, appeared at his feet. Lin Chen found a very familiar feeling. He had lived here for a period of time, especially the three big characters Xiangling City on the city wall seemed very familiar. Then he entered Xiangling City and spent some time to finally enter the Xiangling City shelter. Judging from the scale of construction, the scale of this shelter is larger. After all, this place was the capital of Tianxing country a long time ago. The artificial intelligence of the shelter is very similar to the artificial intelligence of the Shanghai city shelter. They are both little girls with pink clothes and smiles. Through the conversation with the other party, Lin Chen learned that the artificial intelligence was called Xiaoyi, so he asked the address of the shelter's database as a human. The artificial intelligence Xiaoyi replied, "The answer is finished, do you need anything else?" Lin Chen walked towards the database and asked, before the extinction of mankind, was there a person named Lin Chen in the Azure Star Wang's Empire who was Jingshi's Fan? Enter the answer program. The artificial intelligence could only hesitate for a moment and said, "I'm sorry, there is no information about Lin Chen yet. You can search in the database yourself." Lin Chen stopped after a while, he found his own information in the database. There are several hard drives alone. The information here is no longer in the form of books, but has been changed to hard drive data records. This made Lin Chen more curious at the same time. Logically speaking, since he exists in the future, the human side should not be exterminated in the space war. Insert the hard drive data into the reader, and various information immediately appeared on the screen. Lin Chen, a native of the Wang's Empire, he died in the starry sky 620 years ago on his way to the Star Spirit clan. His fleet was besieged by three forces. His wife Jingxi died of depression the following year without leaving any offspring. When seeing this, Lin Chen felt that his brain had already crashed. This, a lot of information. 620 years ago. How could he and she live for more than 600 years? And the fleet they were in was besieged by three forces. Lin Chen asked, how did Lin Chen live for more than 600 years? Intervention and answering program. As the Azure Star continued to expand, not only did it destroy many alien civilizations, but the technology of the human race has been unprecedentedly developed. Dr. Jialixianling Longstar extracted the core of the habitable planet to refine a life-extending drug. Artificial intelligence appeared. I want to learn the truth about the extinction of the human race in the shortest time. The sixth row of information contains information about major cosmic events and cosmic races. Lin Chen nodded, found the location mentioned by the artificial intelligence, and continued to check it out. It would have been better if he hadn't looked at it. After a look, his expression became unbelievable again. Because one by one, the information of characters that were so familiar that they couldn't be more familiar appeared. Pussy. Azure Star was on the verge of collapse, and a large number of human races entered Kepler planet from the channel. Pussy led the Azure United Army to cover the rear and eventually died. Jingminjian. He led the remaining fleet to fight guerrilla warfare and eventually died. In the data, it can be said that everyone that Lin Chen knows and doesn't know died very heroically. It has seriously exceeded his cognition. Lin Chen's face showed solemnity, and the information of the major cosmic events came. The location is the Virgo cluster of the local galaxy, which is divided into several galaxies. The Milky Way and the Andromeda galaxy where he is located are the two largest galaxies in the local galaxy group. The war started from these two large galaxies. A total of several races were affected. Terran, Alien Alliance, Zerg, Protoss. It turns out that there are humans in the Milky Way. A place called the human home planet of the Earth once sent a distress signal, but because the humans in the Andromeda galaxy were dealing with the Zerg and Protoss, the support fell through. Lin Chen muttered to himself. The distance between the Milky Way and the Andromeda galaxy is 2.3 million light-years. How could there be humans there? The fuse of the war was there. He was stuck in the quagmire of war. The human race in the Milky Way was destroyed. The Alien Alliance launched an attack on the Andromeda galaxy, and the human race here was fighting fiercely. The intervention of new forces would undoubtedly make humans disadvantageous, and finally they would be completely extinct under the joint attack of the Alien Alliance and the Zerg. However, for Lin Chen, the importance of this journey of time travel is no less than all the previous rewards. Because he knew the future, he had enough time to prepare for the future war, so as to change the fate of human extinction in the universe. At this time, the system's voice suddenly sounded strangely. Ding, the time travel is over. Then, the blue light gate that sucked Lin Chen in appeared again. Is it over? Lin Chen was stunned, and his heart became a little anxious. There was still a lot of information that he hadn't read, such as the major battles. Then, even if he wanted to stay, he couldn't, because this was the mandatory regulation of the system, which would exceed the scope of the system. Here suction force rolled Lin Chen into the light gate. Lin Chen traveled back. However, he did not cross over to the base, but appeared in a city of the Wangxian Empire. This can be felt from the conversations of passers-by. No matter where he is, the most urgent thing is to find a hotel to rest and recover his physical condition. After all, Lin Chen has been crossing for a full 24 hours. After a while, Lin Chen entered a hotel. As soon as he walked into the lobby of the hotel, a beautiful waitress wearing a small suit with perfect curves came over. "Hello, sir, welcome." The service attitude was very high, with a smile on her face, and there was no plot of looking down on others, and then she was slapped in the face by Lin Chen. Lin Chen came to the front desk under the guidance of the waiter and said, "Open a room for me. ID card." I think I forgot to bring it." "Sorry, this is a formal hotel, so we will never provide check-in service without an ID card." Lin Chen was embarrassed and said, "My name is Lin Chen, can you help me make an exception?" The front desk and the waiter looked up in surprise. It would have been better if they didn't say anything. After saying this, the two looked at him carefully, and the more they looked, the more shocked they were. "It's really Lin Chen, he's so handsome, so handsome." The two of them were full of disbelief, and said in surprise, "Are you Lin Chen?" Lin Chen nodded. "It's me. I'll check you in now." The front desk nodded vigorously. "Who is Lin Chen?" "He is not only the most important person in the Empire, but also that young of the eldest princess, and a great hero who saved the world. If people are not allowed to stay just because of an ID card, I dare to guarantee that no matter how big the hotel's background is, it will definitely be sealed up tomorrow for all kinds of impeccable reasons." So the front desk handled the check-in information for Lin Chen while quietly contacting the hotel owner. After a while, the check-in information was completed, and a middle-aged man ran in a hurry. "Hello, Mr. Lin, I'm the owner of the hotel, welcome to come and inspect the work." The boss smiled and winked at the beautiful waitress. As long as people don't have any dissatisfaction with the hotel will definitely bring a wave of celebrity effect. The hotel where Lin Chen has stayed. This will be boasted in the future. If it is publicized, celebrities from all walks of life will break their heads to stay here. The hotel where the savior stayed was definitely very high-end. Who wouldn't want to come and share the savior's joy? The beautiful waitress immediately understood what he meant, and pulled her chest intentionally or unintentionally, revealing a white patch, and then moved closer to Lin Chen. Question mark. Lin Chen. "I don't know if anyone can see it. Sorry, I'm going to sort out the order of appearance of the relevant planets today, so it's hard to write 2 chapters today. Tomorrow, I'll make up for it. Sorry." Chapter 246. The driver is dead, so you can bully his family at night. Lin Chen checked into the hotel room. All he could think about was the information about the time travel thousands of years later. He traveled thousands of years later. If this were to be spread out, no one would believe it because it was too incredible. Lin Chen knew that this time travel was real. Whether it was the Alien Alliance or the Zerg, they would be the enemy of the human race in the future and would destroy the entire human race. But there was nothing to worry about at the moment. Those were all things that would happen hundreds of years later. Since he already knew the turning point of the future cosmic war, he would certainly not repeat the same mistakes and would definitely correct the human race's future decisions. Just as Lin Chen was thinking about it, there was a knock on the door. He looked at the time and it was already evening. Who? Lin Chen asked. Hello, Mr. Lin, I'm a waiter in the hotel. Do you need any service? Lin Chen had never heard of any other services for staying in a hotel. This hotel provides any service. As long as you want, I will serve you wholeheartedly and let you spend an unforgettable night. The beautiful waitress spoke half-covered. If I could be written by Lin Chen for a night, I would do it for free. Not only can he feel his powerful driving skills, but he will also have something to brag about in the future. After all, he has slept with the Savior. How cool will it be? Both his mind and body will definitely be greatly satisfied. Lin Chen's face sank and he shouted, "Get out of here! It is obviously a regular hotel, but I didn't expect that there are such services. Bah, disgusting." The next day, Lin Chen used his power to fly back to Jijie City from the high-speed rail. The city he traveled back to was not in the base, but a small third-tier city called Linjiang, which was also the last place he visited the family of the deceased driver. The attendant prepared a seat for Lin Chen and smiled, "This is an emergency seat for you. If you need anything, please contact us." Lin Chen nodded, and the passengers in the entire carriage were shocked. Damn, it's Lin Chen. One by one, they stood up and widened their eyes, their faces full of disbelief. This feeling is even lower than the probability of winning the lottery. There was a middle-aged woman who hurriedly pulled her teenage son and said, "Son, look, that's Lin Chen. I heard that many schools have built a separate viewing room for Lin Chen, hanging his photo for people to admire. Now you see the real person, go and worship the god of examination. You can get a 0 in the college entrance examination next year, and maybe you can build a mecha." Everyone in the car. Lin Chen is a typical child of other people's families. Even if it is a happy occasion, there is no need to be so exaggerated. Fortunately, at this time a phone rang, and Lin Chen had to sit still and feel uneasy. "Hello, is this Lin Chen?" "It's me." Lin Chen was stunned. "I'm Liu's sister. According to what you said before, I can call you if there is anything to solve. Please come and save our family." "Have you called the police?" Lin Chen was confused. The caller seemed to be the sister of the deceased driver Liu Da, named Liu. But when he heard that there was someone to save their family, Lin Chen's face immediately became serious. Other people's relatives died in fighting against monsters, shouldn't their families enjoy some privileges? "Call the police. This is a special case. The police can't do anything." "Don't worry, I'll be there soon." Lin Chen put down the phone and hurriedly called the crew chief to communicate with him. If nothing else, every mecha pilot was trained by him. Now that they have died, it would be unreasonable to ignore their families. This is a taboo. No one wants to have no one to take care of their relatives after they die. And here, in Linjiang City, 6 fierce men were smashing everything in the restaurant at the small dining table of Liu Da's house, which Lin Chen had visited before. Obviously, they were some gang members. Seeing that they were fierce and strong men, the neighbors around did not dare to step forward to rescue them. Crackle and smashed. The restaurant was almost in a mess. A strong man in black said viciously, "Your dead father owed us a lot of debt when he was alive. Today we are here to collect the interest." Liu Da's sister Liu's face changed. "Didn't we pay it off yesterday?" "The debt was paid, but the interest was not paid." "Sister, look at the interest carefully. According to the interest compounding, it has been delayed for 10 years, and now you should pay 5 million in interest." The mother and daughter were frightened pale. 5 million? The neighbors outside the door were also shocked. Borrowing 500,000 and paying 5 million more? Everyone couldn't help but think of the loan company. These loan companies take advantage of legal loopholes. Once anyone is involved with these loan companies, the ending is usually the destruction of the family, because they will blackmail in various legal names. Liu Da's mother, Ms. Liu, said, "We don't have that much money. I just called the police. I believe the police will uphold justice for the martyr's family." After saying this, the momentum of the 6 fierce and fierce strong men was obviously stagnant. A yellow-haired man whispered, "Brother Hey, I think we should just forget about this. Those soldiers are more unreasonable than us." Brother Hey was the leader of the 5 strong men. In fact, he was a little guilty. He had heard that Lin Chen had stepped on dog shit and ran away to become a mecha pilot, so the company didn't dare to continue to collect debts. But now he heard that Lin Chen was dead. It seems that he has nothing to be afraid of. It's just the title of March's family. In the end, this mother and daughter were not arbitrarily manipulated by him. What's the use of calling the police? It's clearly written in black and white on the contract that it is natural to pay back debts, and no one can intercede for them. In an instant, the strong man Brother Hey became ferocious again and threatened, "If you don't pay back the money, we will see you in court. Going to jail will be a light punishment." It was obvious that he was bullying this helpless mother and daughter. Brother Hey's powerful aura immediately infected the 5 younger brothers. Each of them was full of confidence in this debt collection, and would not stop until they extorted the pension. In order to make Liu's mother and sister compromise, these strong men used their usual tricks and vented their anger on the neighbors around them. "What are you looking at? If you look again, I'll dig out your eyeballs. Still looking? If you look again, I'll break your legs. Damn, you didn't hear me, did you?" These people had baseball bats and machetes in their hands, and they immediately frightened the neighbors who were watching the fun and shut up. The rest of the things were easy to deal with. The 6 strong men had plenty of ways to deal with a mother and daughter. The yellow-haired man deliberately amplified his voice. "Brother Hey, this mother and daughter are good. Since they have no money, why not tie them up and take them to a nightclub to pick up customers? Those rich people like this kind of excitement." Liu's mother and daughter sat on the ground, trembling with fear. Just when they were about to compromise with the pension given by Lin Chen, the 6 strong men in black had the mother and daughter ready. A very inappropriate voice sounded. "What on earth happened here?" Lin Chen walked slowly into the small restaurant he had been to the day before, and couldn't help frowning. Liu's mother and daughter looked overjoyed, and their originally frightened hearts immediately calmed down. However, Haig and the other 6 were very unhappy. Seeing that the other party was about to compromise, there were actually some fearless people who dared to meddle in other people's business. The 6 strong men in black immediately turned their heads, and the leader Haig threatened fiercely. "Damn, which little bastard dared to meddle in other people's business? Do you know who has the final say in Lin Chen? If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels." Chapter 247 Surrender or Fire. Lin Chen was stunned. The other party was so arrogant. After the strong man finished his unsatisfied thread, he was also stunned. The 5 younger brothers were also stunned. Lin Chen has always been a place where the empire is far away. It is precisely because big people generally don't come here that they're so arrogant. But now, after identifying Lin Chen, Nisi suddenly flashed a trace of panic. Liu Da, the mecha driver, died, and Lin Chen, who is in charge of the mecha, came. If they say they don't know Lin Chen, then they are too out. Lin Chen looked at the group of strong men coldly and said in a deep voice, "Tell me, what's going on? We're here to ask for money." Brother Hey told the whole story, and the key point was to mention that they were here to collect debts, which was not illegal. Lin Chen helped Liu's mother and daughter up and said in a deep voice, "Is it what they said? It's fake, it's like this." Liu's mother and daughter immediately found a backbone and talked about the origins of these people. After a while, when the Liu mother and daughter finished talking, Lin Chen seemed to understand that he had run into a loan shark company. When Liu Da was alive, he didn't dare to be too presumptuous because of his identity as a driver, but now that he was dead, these people immediately jumped out to ask for interest. Lin Chen looked at the 6 strong men in black. "Brother, this is none of our business. Our boss asked us to come." Brother He and others were almost scared to death. Lin Chen asked, "Who is your boss?" Brother He hesitated a little. "He is Lin Jiang's richest man, Zhao Dactone." Lin Chen narrowed his eyes. Soon, the police came after receiving the alarm call. It was heard that Lin Chen was also there, and the police chief of Lin Jiang also came. After the interrogation, the police chief walked over with a difficult expression and said, "Mr. Lin, these people are not guilty of a crime. At most, they can be detained for criminal offense. Doesn't loan sharking count?" Sorry, we don't have any specific evidence yet. Lin Chen was very dissatisfied. I don't care. Arrest them all. Arrest them for life imprisonment for the crime of undermining the development of the mobile force. With that, the 6 strong men squatting in a corner, who had lost their previous ferocity, became even more timid. Please, I'm just collecting debts. I haven't used violence yet. The police chief said with a difficult expression, there is no such article in the constitution of this empire. Lin Chen said, if you feel reluctant, someone will help you deal with this matter. The police chief's face froze. Lin Chen stood up and walked to the side of Liu's mother and daughter, saying, I will deal with this matter. The families of martyrs will never be bullied. After saying this, Lin Chen left because there were more important things waiting for him to do. The next day, Lin Jing became extraordinary. A tank regiment drove into the city and headed for the company of Zhao Daton, the richest man in Linjiang. After a special interrogation, the 6 strong men in black who were collecting the money confessed. Zhao Daton, the richest man in the local area, is not simple. He started his business by extortion, loaned money at high interest rates, secretly stored weapons, and sold drugs. To the outside world, he used a shell company as a cover. So in order to solve this cancer, Lin Chen asked the 14th Corps to borrow people. Hearing about the experience of the martyrs' families, the 14th Corps almost exploded. This is the same feeling of the soldiers. Drivers often fight monsters on the front line, and they have to face life and death all the time more than these soldiers. So if Lin Chen hadn't stopped them, there would be more people from the 14th Corps. After a while, it was not far from the company of Zhao Daton, the richest man in Linjiang. In less than half an hour, the tank regiment arrived at Zhao Daton's company. At this time, Zhao Daton's company was crowded with people coming and going. While everyone was still immersed in the world of how to make money quickly, they were surrounded by teams of soldiers. Tanks were aiming and snipers were occupying various commanding heights. Listen, everyone inside. You are completely surrounded. If you don't surrender immediately, we will open fire. A burly soldier shouted directly at the 10-story building. Lin Chen didn't expect these people to be so direct and domineering. They would open fire directly instead of surrendering. Open fire? Whether it was the citizens watching the excitement around or Zhao Daton and his younger brothers in the company, they all turned pale when they heard this. There was no need to be so cruel. They actually opened fire directly. The soldiers outside had grim faces. Not only did they know that this company would do anything illegal, but they also came for the honor of the soldiers. The families of martyrs should not be bullied. Since the people inside had done some unscrupulous things, there was no guarantee that they would not carry guns. If they heard Lin Chen, they would be guilty of a great crime. Zhao Daton and other successful people in the company who had been whitewashed were all scared and panicked. What should we do? Should we surrender? Everyone. Why does the tone sound like they want to fight the tanks outside with a small pistol? I think it's better to surrender. After all, we are all successful people. They dare not do anything to us. Then Zhao Daton took the lead and held a white flag. He came out of the building carefully and shouted, "We surrender. We surrender." 10,000 grass mud horses galloped through my heart. Isn't it just a company that specializes in illegal activities? A dozen policemen can easily catch them, but what about these densely packed soldiers? There are dozens of sniper rifles aimed at him, and there is even a row of tanks pointing their guns directly at him. Zhao Daton thought he was a brave man who was brave enough to remain calm even when Mount Tai collapsed in front of him. When he was young, he was known as the Northwest Chopping King, and no one could defeat him with a big knife. But now he actually felt his legs were not moving. He was sure that if he did anything out of the ordinary, these snipers and tanks would definitely blow him to pieces without hesitation. Lin Chen shouted, "Zhao Daton, step out. Here. Do you know why I asked you to surrender?" Zhao Daton saw that it was Lin Chen, and he panicked. "Leader, I don't understand." He had never offended him. Because he was not worthy of offending him, not qualified. Lin Chen said, "You know that the battles of Mecha pilots are between life and death. Your people bully the families of the fallen pilots. Do you think I will forgive you?" Zhao Daton breathed a sigh of relief. If it was just his own problem, the worst that could happen was an apology. As long as he didn't know about other illegal activities, it would be fine. "I'm willing to apologize in person. Please give me a chance to apologize." The head of the tank regiment said, "No need. The police station has handed you over to the 14th Corps. You are suspected of murder, rape, drug smuggling, loan sharking, etc. We have the right to shoot you now. Open fire, target Zaudatone. Two more than a dozen soldiers pulled the bolts of their guns and shot this group of lawbreakers into a sieve. Fuck, didn't I get a chance to explain myself? Zaudatone fell to the ground and died with his eyes wide open. He couldn't understand why he opened fire when he didn't agree with them, and didn't prepare himself at all. The citizens around were directly scared silly. Their eyes were wide open. Murder. And Lin Chen breathed a sigh of relief. Zaudatone death was not unjust. The driver's family was bullied. If he didn't show his determination and solve the incident with thunderous means, who would come to drive the mecha in the future, and who would work for him? Do I need to drive the test machine myself to fight a small monster in the future? Chapter 248. Immortal Vine on Mars. In recent days, the Wang's Empire has been very restless. The internet is full of reports about Lin Chen commanding the 14th Corps to kill people in the street. Almost every social forum is open, and the content is almost the same, discussing Lin Chen's affairs in Linjiang. It is said that a certain driver was unfortunately killed in the battle with the monster, and his family was bullied, so Lin Chen commanded the corps to kill him. Isn't this too violent? It is said that Zaudatone did many things that angered the heavens and the people. I don't think it is violent. Extraordinary people do extraordinary things. People died protecting us. If we don't use thundering means, who will defend our country in the future? The heat on the internet continued to rise. The official response was given quickly, and finally the incident was completely calmed down. Killing is wrong, but what if you kill a bad guy who does all kinds of evil? At this time, Lin Chen, who was involved, said to Jiang Ship, the restaurant was also smashed. I talked to the officials in Linjiang and introduced Ms. Liu to work in the canteen of the unit, so that I could take care of the mother and daughter. Jiang Shiu said, the hearts of frontliner fighters are the strongest, but also the most vulnerable. They are afraid that their families will not be properly taken care of after they die. Lin Chen nodded. That's why he made such a big fuss. Jiang Shi asked again, by the way, how did you suddenly come to Linjiang? Lin Chen made up a lie. Do you believe that I invented a time machine? I believe it. Then I traveled to the future 1,000 years later, and came back to Linjiang. I believe it. Jiang Shi nodded again. In the future, I saw that I died more than 600 years later, and you died of depression. Jiang Shi shook her head and smiled, I don't believe it. Lin Chen knew that the other party would not believe it. After all, it was too incredible. However, he did not explain anything more. It was just a time travel. According to the trajectory of time, he would make decisive adjustments in several major events in the future. Later, Lin Chen continued the construction work on Mars, first building a Mars space station, and then building a larger spacecraft to explore the starry sky according to the trajectory of history. Not only is the Wang's Empire developing, but even the entire Blue Star is in a stage of rapid and peaceful development. Although conflicts between countries continue, everyone has turned their attention to outer space. Countries have taken advantage of this short period of peace to study various technologies. However, the Jianmeng Empire does not think how long this peace will last. After all, they once captured a spacecraft from outer space. So they know that sooner or later aliens will come to the Blue Star. Because of this, they are particularly attentive in how to improve technology, surpassing all countries. Inside the secret base, the person in charge was reporting to Pussy. Our Enterprise spacecraft has entered Mars. According to the word progress, the astronauts in the Enterprise will carry out various exploration projects on Mars for 10 days. Pussy was very dissatisfied. What's the use of that kind of exploration work? Develop technology. We need to develop technology, not exploration. The premise is that we need something that can solve energy and matter. The monster corpses will run out sooner or later. The person in charge of the base was also helpless. Mars, a planet that is not yet understood, will definitely bring new material elements to the Jianmeng Empire. Pussy does not understand the field of science, but it does not prevent his king of understanding from breaking out. Hearing that this damn person in charge dared to question himself, Pussy almost slammed the table and roared. Fuck, no one can understand technology better than me, no one can understand it better than me. All scientific researchers in the base. Pussy roared. In the future, the exploration plan for Mars must be reduced. Research a new spaceship for me. I want to blow up the Wang's Empire. Just when Pussy was yelling and preaching to the scientific research team of the secret base in the Jianming Empire, it was like a teacher reprimanding a student who had done something wrong. The fierce astronauts on Mars have started their exploration mission. They started digging from the ground and wanted to bring back new minerals for research. A group of astronauts came to an area that had not been explored yet, and were preparing to do something big on Mars. However, just after coming down from Mars, a burst of flying sand and rocks set off a huge storm, which was quickly approaching this side. A fierce astronaut was about to explode. Damn, Amazon is racing on Mars again. Ignore them, let's work. A group of astronauts took shovels and resisted the urge to duel with Wang's astronauts, and began exploration work. Because this area has never been explored, they kept digging. After a long time, a crystal clear white appeared in the withered yellow soil and the fiery red soil. The astronauts were shocked. What is that? It's ice. According to speculation, Mars was also a habitable planet a long time ago. They continued to dig down, and this time they were completely shocked. A white plant appeared. In this world with only withered yellow and fiery red, a real white plant appeared. It is extremely crystal clear, like white jade, and it is a real living plant. This is a major discovery. It's a plant, a living plant. What a beautiful vine, my god, it can be so crystal clear living underground. This is a major discovery. We must contact the Empire quickly. Dig it out quickly and hide it. Don't let the Wang's Empire see it. A group of astronauts immediately threw down their shovels and kept digging carefully with their hands. The degree of carefulness was even gentler than touching the skin of a girl. After a while, they successfully dug it out and sealed it, flattened the pit to create a false illusion that there was nothing, and then quickly drove the Enterprise spacecraft to fly away from Mars. According to the unspoken rules in the past, although Angxin and Jianming have long disliked each other, everyone on Mars understands the principle of helping each other. So when flying away from Mars, in order to avoid accidents, they will say hello to each other before flying away from Mars. But now it just flew away like this. Did it discover something? There was another burst of flying sand and rocks on Mars, and 5 exploration vehicles rushed over. After more than 20 astronauts searched for a while, a leading astronaut said, "It should be here." They even leveled the pit. They must have dug something. Let's dig. As the soil flew, a nice layer appeared underground. Keep digging and expand the scope. After a while, Wang's astronauts also made a major discovery, discovering the white vine. Hiss, there is a white vine under the ice. No wonder Jianming astronauts left without saying hello. Major discovery. Stop the construction of the Mars station first, and now we will return to the Empire and study this vine. After a brief discussion, the vine was immediately sealed, and then the small exploration spacecraft was immediately driven back to the Wang's Empire. Compared with the Enterprise spacecraft of the Jianming Empire, the speed of the Wang's Empire's small exploration spacecraft is undoubtedly much faster. It only takes a few hours to return to the blue star from the vast starry sky. During this period, the small exploration spacecraft immediately reported its discovery on Mars to the Empire. The spaceship base of the Wang's Empire suddenly became tense, and all passing vehicles were strictly inspected, even more strictly than the inspection for entering Kepler planet. So all the scientific research teams of the Wang's Empire with no political problems were invited. What, there is really life in a place like Mars? This is a miracle. The vine that can grow on Mars must be a fairy vine. Regardless of being shocked, countless scientific researchers, some far away took planes, some took trains, and all rushed to the spaceship base. That night, the spaceship base was brightly lit. With the return of the small exploration spaceship, many scientists in the fields of biology, chemistry and other scientific research immediately rushed up, so impatient, as if they were about to enjoy a rare delicacy. Chapter 249. Because no one knows more than me, that's why I know everything. Soon, a small exploration spacecraft landed at the spacecraft base. The scientific research team immediately launched a nearly crazy and obsessive research. Analyze samples. Extract internal structure. Analyze living habits. The scientific research teams from various fields performed a series of dazzling operations, and a serious atmosphere permeated, even more serious than studying nuclear bombs. After 2 days of hard work without eating or drinking, a report data on Martian plants finally came out. The plants brought back from Mars were named Immortal Vine. Harmless characteristics, crystalline and self-replicating. It is a super-energy substance. The energy it emits can replace traditional energy sources such as oil and coal. With it, humans can enter a fast-developing track. Well, not bad. Lin Chen looked at the data report in his hand and nodded, without much surprise. After all, according to the future timeliner, the Blue Star will usher in a stage of rapid development, destroying one evil alien civilization after another, and will continue until the war with the Z will stagnate. But this made many scientific research teams very unhappy. What kind of attitude is this? Do you know what the discovery of the immortal vine means? Lin, don't think you can look down on the fairy vine just because you have invented something again and again. I'm telling you now, once the fairy vine becomes large-scale, humans will no longer have to worry about energy problems. Many scientific research teams were very unhappy with Lin Chen's attitude and looked at him covetously. The fairy vine was the result of 2 days of analysis, but in Lin Chen's eyes, it became bland, just like the analysis report that found that tap water can be drunk. So they wanted to pin Lin Chen to the ground and beat him up, and use force to force him to show his ecstatic expression about the fairy vine. I'll take this report, you can continue your research. Lin Chen ignored these scientific research teams and didn't understand why they were so stubborn. After saying this, he turned around and left the laboratory. At the scene, a group of scientific researchers were very angry. This damn expression again. A scholar shouted angrily. Fortunately you just grabbed me, otherwise I would have let him know the dangers of society. Cough cough cough. Calm down, Mr. Zhen. How can you fight with a young and strong man with your body? I will lie on the ground and blackmail him to death. Everyone was speechless. It felt like 10,000 grass mud horses were running wildly. This is also possible. This way. Lin Chen sent this research report on the fairy vine to the Imperial Internal Affairs Department. The Internal Affairs Department attached great importance to it. Fairy vine can solve the energy problem. In this case, let's go to Mars to dig fairy vines. So the Imperial Internal Affairs Department took the lead and various departments coordinated. In order not to destroy the fairy vines, a plan to mine the fairy vines was born. First explore whether there are still fairy vines in the area where the fairy vines were dug out on Mars. Second, select soldiers with rich planting experience in the construction corps to report. On the day that plan was drawn up, the astronauts of the Mars space station immediately went to the vicinity of the area for exploration and sent the results back to the Empire. Exploration results. There are a lot of fairy vines underground in this area. Wang's Empire immediately selected a group of special and experienced warriors. And these warriors, without exception, are top talents who specialize in various things in the construction corps. Because they will come faster, more efficiently, and more profitable than anyone else to dig fairy vines. More than 100 warriors were secretly taken to the spaceship base. They had only heard that the Empire needed them to dig things, but they didn't know what to dig. Now, after a series of strict inspections at the spaceship base, they were even more confused. They all looked at an official in front of them. The person in charge of the project to dig the fairy vines this time explained loudly. Don't worry, everyone. The Empire has discovered a plant called fairy vine on Mars, so you need to go to Mars to dig out the fairy vines. Some warriors asked uneasily, Leader, is it dangerous to go to Mars, and we have no common sense on Mars at all? The person in charge said, there is a Mars space station that the Empire is building on Mars. You will eat and live there. As long as you don't take off your spacesuit privately, there will be no danger. After saying this, the warriors below all laughed, and their faces showed meaningful smiles. This task is a bit interesting. We are all from the construction corps. We are not very good at fighting, but we are almost unrivaled in planting. Going to Mars to dig fairy vines now. What's the difference between that and throwing onions and digging potatoes in the field? In the past, we only watched how the Mechas fought monsters on TV, but now the soldiers of the construction corps have finally been proud of themselves. Look, it seems that it's time for us soldiers who were engaged in farming to show our unique skills on Mars. These soldiers of the construction corps hypnotized themselves and felt very good. The project leader said, okay, everyone will have relevant people in our spaceship to help you. After a long time, watching 3 small exploration spaceships fly into the sky, and finally gradually disappear. Many people in the spaceship base laughed. Going to Mars to dig fairy vines now is a race against time. Once the Enterprise spaceship of the Jianmeng Empire is also developed, their industry will definitely be fully opened, and they will vigorously build spaceships to go to Mars to dig fairy vines. By then, the number of fairy vines will be limited, and of course whoever digs more will have the advantage. Here. The Enterprise spaceship of the Jianmeng Empire is still slowly flying towards the blue star. However, they had already reported the harvest information on Mars to the Jianmeng Empire in advance. After hearing the news, all the high-level officials of the Jianmeng Empire were immediately like chicken blood, and their confidence returned. The discovery of plants on Mars, this kind of earth-shaking discovery, with a little publicity, is a sure show of strength. If there is any scientific research progress from it, it would be even better. It's just a pity that the speed of the Enterprise spacecraft of the Jianmeng Empire is really hard to complement. It takes a month to return to the blue star from Mars. For this reason, Pussy would excitedly run to the secret base almost every 3 or 5 days, and then he would angrily slap the table and roar wildly. "Oh, fuck, why hasn't our Enterprise spacecraft returned yet? It will be back in 2 weeks." Pussy was very dissatisfied. "Fuck, I can't wait to see the life on Mars." Plants are also a kind of life. Many newly arrived scientific research teams are the same. Originally, when they heard that plants were discovered on Mars, everyone was called here, but they waited here for many days and didn't see any plants on Mars. Instead, everyone grew fat. However, when Pussy and everyone else were almost impatient, the Enterprise finally came back. Pussy came to the secret base in a good mood. Because the plants found on Mars were brought back. The head of the base said, "We will write down the research results on paper as soon as possible." Pussy smiled and said, "Very good, this vine will promote the qualitative leap of the technology of the Jianmeng Empire." Everyone. It's too early to draw conclusions before the research has started. Pussy said confidently. "Although this is the first time I have seen this vine from Mars, no one knows this plant better than me, so I know the secret of this vine." Everyone. "Since you know it, why do we still need to study it? Can't you just tell us directly?" Pussy is in a particularly good mood now. Since the monster appeared, the reputation of the Jianmeng Empire has not been as good as before. It's okay to have frequent rollovers, but the benefits are always taken by the Wangxian Empire. Even the reputation of saving the world has become the Wangxian Empire. Damn it, the savior should belong to the Jianmeng Empire just like in the movie. However, the Jianmeng Empire finally has good news. A new plant was discovered on Mars. Looking at the carefully taken plant samples being sent to the laboratory, Pussy stood there for a long time without moving, because a light bulb suddenly flashed in his mind and he came up with a plan. Chapter 250 The lighthouse will illuminate the world. Show off. Use the fairy vine to show the strength of the Jianmeng Empire. This vine comes from Mars, so there will definitely be no other country that knows the origin of the fairy vine. Currently, only the Jianmeng Empire and the Wangxian Empire can land on Mars, and the Wangxian Empire has no way of knowing it, because this vine was dug by the Jianmeng astronauts by accident, and they did not tell the other party after digging it, but leave it at the pit. And the unlucky Wangxian Empire is still in the dark about all this. Pussy's mouth corners showed an obvious arc. As long as the research on the vine is out, it will be the day for him to show off to the world. 2 days later. The Jianmeng Empire also analyzed the same research progress as the Wangxian Empire. Even because the vine on Mars is very magical, it is also named the fairy vine like the Wangxian Empire. Pussy smiled and said, "Is that fairy vine actually a super energy material?" "Yes, according to our research, the fairy vine can replace traditional energy such as oil and coal." "Very good, I want the whole world to see the charm of the fairy vine." "No." The person in charge of the base refused without hesitation. What a joke. It's already so late, and instead of rushing to Mars to dig up the fairy vine, they want to spread the news. Wouldn't that mean that Wangxian Empire will be told that there is a fairy vine on Mars? What if they and Jianmeng Empire compete to dig up the fairy vine on Mars? Pussy saw the resolute attitude of the head of the base and asked, "Why?" "If we spread the news about the fairy vine, although many forces cannot land on Mars, Wangxian Empire can also land on Mars." Pussy smiled and said, "When the Enterprise spacecraft broke down on Mars, didn't we advertise that we were doing experiments on Mars? Now we can use this to our advantage and claim that this is a new type of plant cultivated with Martian soil. I think Wangxian Empire can't find the real origin of the fairy vine at all." The head of the base pondered for a while and said, "If this is the case, the success rate is very high." He also knew the current situation of Jianmeng Empire, and now he can use the fairy vine to show his strength. Anyway, claiming that the fairy vine was cultivated with Martian soil will definitely confuse Wangxian Empire. The next day, hundreds of super soldiers wearing exoskeleton armor led by the Angel of Verdun guarded the safety of the press conference. Many reporters were confused when they came. It was just a press conference. Was it necessary to make such a big fuss? Pussy appeared at the press conference with full confidence, and his impassioned voice rang out. Thank you very much for coming here despite your busy schedule. Jianweng reporter asked. What is the purpose of this press conference? Pussy said confidently. It is well known that we humans have extracted a kind of energy substance from the body of the monster, but as it is consumed, the energy substance will eventually run out, so today our content is renewable super energy substance. Question mark. Many reporters. Everyone knows what Pussy, the old man, said, but where can the energy substance be extracted? Could it be that the Jianweng Empire already has renewable energy technology? Yes, the Jianweng Empire has found a new super energy substance, which can replace traditional energy sources such as oil and coal. The reporters in the audience were suddenly in an uproar. They were all shocked by Pussy's bold words. It is the fairy vine, a new energy product cultivated by us using Martian soil and high-tech. Pussy boasted wildly. Feeling the shock of the reporters in the audience, he was about to let himself go. Next, please invite the fairy vine to come out and show everyone how to use super energy. A motorcade slowly drove in with the sound of a series of passionate Jianmeng national anthems. Then a group of black-clad bodyguards and super soldiers escorted the Jianmeng Empire technology to come out. Although it doesn't matter whether the content is true or not, the key is to pretend to be like it. Anyway, this group of reporters don't know anything. As long as they pretend to be like it, they can hold the whole audience. It is undeniable that the Jianmeng Empire's move really made countless reporters feel a kind of unknown and powerful atmosphere. With such a grand appearance, the fairy vine must be an object that will surprise everyone. Pussy used a projector to introduce the white plant in the transparent glass box to everyone. Everyone, please look, this is the fairy vine. The reporters were all shocked. Oh my god, is it a white vine? It looks like a fairy. Is that the fairy vine? I haven't seen it before. It is definitely not a product of the blue star. I have never heard of such a crystal clear and beautiful vine. Flashes of light continued in the audience. Previously, countless reporters generally believed that the Jianmeng Empire was no longer viable and had been pushed off the altar by the Wangxin Empire. However, it now seems that the Jianmeng Empire was just taking a nap. Such a magical plant was actually cultivated using Martian soil. Awesome. Everyone, please be quiet. Now I will let our Professor Mechas perform the energy matter conversion and application of the fairy vine. After Pussy finished speaking, Mechas immediately went on stage to perform excitedly. In front of all the reporters and in front of more than 1 billion viewers around the world, he fully demonstrated the magic of the fairy vine. A series of energy conversions were very smooth and stable. Then he demonstrated the application of energy to the energy core of the mecha and the energy storage of the energy cannon, which were all done very well. The magic of the fairy vine was thoroughly displayed in front of many reporters and global audiences. Awesome. Finally, Pussy announced. In the future, the Jianmeng Empire will use the fairy vine to achieve unprecedented development and become an era changed by the fairy vine. At this moment, all the people in the Jianmeng Empire who were watching TV were excited. Long live the Jianmeng Empire. Long live the fairy vine. We are proud Jianmeng people. Confidence is back. The overlord-level self-confidence and arrogance of the Jianmeng Empire return to the Jianmeng people's faces at this moment. The era of pretending to be awesome and overturning is over. This is the immortal vine cultivated by the Jianmeng Empire on the soil of Mars using high-tech. How could it overturn? Many Jianmeng people generally believe that this time they show their strength. The fact is that the Jianmeng Empire can no longer keep a low profile, so it will definitely not overturn. Of course, there are also foreign netizens who were very sour and question whether this is a product of Mars, but it was blown up by the Jianmeng Empire again. These remarks from foreign forces do not need the official Jianmeng Empire to be vigilant. They were soon sprayed to death by countless proud and conceited Jianmeng people. This is the immortal vine developed by the great Jianmeng Empire. How could it be a product of Mars? Jealousy must be jealousy. Facts have proved that the immortal vine is a technical product of the Jianmeng Empire. If anyone can come up with hard evidence to refute it, this internet celebrity will live broadcast handstand eating shit. The lighthouse will illuminate the entire universe. At this time, countless Jianmeng people have fallen into a state of self-mental hypnosis. Because it was the Wangxi Empire that saved the world, they developed an extremely inferiority complex, so they always longed for the Jianmeng Empire to stand at the top of the world. Now, Pussy's lofty talk has come true. Not only did it give the Jianmeng people endless confidence, but it also successfully made the Jianmeng Empire stand at the top of the world through the press conference. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.